Welcome to the following presentation of the National Football League from CBS Sports, home of Super Bowl 35.
Perhaps the hottest team in football, the Tennessee Titans, again have been led by dynamic quarterback Steve McNair, the unstoppable Eddie George, and the relentless Javon Curse. The Titans are eyeing another AFC title. Today they face the Baltimore Ravens, featuring a ferocious defense. Tony Banks and the offense need to step up if they hope to win this showdown of two of the AFC's best teams. The Tennessee Titans are tied for the second best record in the NFL and in sole possession of first place in the Central. Baltimore a half game back, and with the win, they're in first place. Our kickoff is next. It's the kickoff. Tennessee has won 5 in a row. And deep back Priest Holmes along with Corey Harris. Baltimore, although 5-2, hasn't beaten a team with the winning record this season. We are underway. It'll be Harris from the 5-yard line for the Ravens. And a block from Holmes and then tackled by Rodney Thomas at about the 26-yard line as we send it downstairs and say good afternoon to Beasley Reese.
Thank you, Kevin. A great day for football and a great day for a developing story. The quarterback situation in Baltimore. Tony Banks is under pressure. He knows it. He told us so in a meeting yesterday. We asked Brian Billick about a possible change today. It could happen. It will be based on football criteria. So Tony Banks will play his way in or out of this football game. Back upstairs.
And his backup is Trent Dilfer, the ex-Tampa Bay Buck, from the 27-yard line. First down and 10 yards to go. Sam Gass, the lead back, and the handoff goes to Jamal Lewis, who works his way up to the 30-yard line before he is tackled by Blaine Bishop on a gain of 3. Jonathan Ogden, no audio, Flynn, Vickers, and the veteran Harry Swain on the line. In the backfield, the number 5 overall pick Lewis with Sam Gash, Ismail, and rookie Travis Taylor, the wide receivers, and the tight end is Shannon Sharp. Second down, long 7, shy of the 30. Corners are coming up. Now they blitz. That's Bishop, who is blocked, and here comes the sack from the middle and brought down by Kenny Holmes. His 4th sack of the season. He leads Tennessee in that category. Tennessee's defense is better in every major statistical area than a season ago. Number 4 in the NFL. Curse, Thornton, Jason Fisk is back, and Kenny Holmes just had the sack. Linebackers, the former Dallas Cowboy Randall Godfrey, flanked on one side by Favors, on the other by Eddie Robinson. And the corners are Walker and Sidney. The safeties, Robertson. As you take a look at Holmes, 3rd and 14. Blaine Bishop is back there as well. A bad snap, and falling on it, it appears as though Tony Banks, or Baltimore, recovered. It was Priest Holmes, number 33, back at the 5-yard line. Mike Flynn had the snap, and now on 3 and out in the first possession today for Baltimore.
And Tony Banks talked about pressing a little bit too much the last few weeks. He wants to come out and relax and play his game of football. You can see on this first series, he is still pressing. That was not a bad snap. He wasn't ready for that snap, and then he did a poor job of getting back and getting on that football. Very lucky that he had a teammate hustling.
And the explanation to Brian Billick as you take a look at Kyle Richardson, the punt. And deep back is Derek Mason, near midfield, one of the top punt returners in the National Football League. And this is high and hanging. And Mason will retrieve it, backing up to about his own 44-yard line. And then he is dealt a blow by Anthony Poindexter after an 8-yard return and a 52-yard punt. And so outstanding beginning field position for the Tennessee Titans, led by quarterback Steve McNair as the 4th-rated quarterback in the AFC and in his 4th season as a starter.
And he really feels that the key today is going to be converting on 3rd down. They will get into some 2nd and longs because they will come out and pound the ball at this Ravens front.
McNair will have it in Baltimore territory inside the 49-yard line, and opens up with 3 receivers, including the tight end Wycheck there on the side atop your screen. Eddie George is in the backfield, and from the 49-yard line, Tennessee first down and 10 yards to go. The fake to George, a good block by Matthews, and here comes Rob Burnett with the rush, and the pass is incomplete. Looking for Sanders, who is covered by Starks. It'll be second down and 10. Tennessee's offense, number 6 in the NFL. Hopkins, Matthews, Long, Olsen, and Fred Miller. Miller played with the Rams a season ago. In the backfield, the number 3 rusher in the NFL is Eddie George. The blocking back is Neal. Sanders and Mason are the wide receivers. We'll also see a lot of Yancey Thigpen. And the great Frank Wycheck is the tight end. A good look at McNair on second down and 10 at the 49 of Baltimore. Wycheck on the move. The pitch out goes to George. He got a block in the play for Miller, and he's tackled by Siragusa just inside the 46 and near the 45 on a gain of 4. Baltimore's defense, number 5 in the NFL. They have not allowed 2 touchdowns in the last 4 games. Burnett, Adams, Siragusa, and Michael McCrary on the defensive line. Linebackers, Ray Lewis on one side, Boulware on the other, Jamie Sharper. And in the secondary, the cornerbacks are Starks and McAllister. Rod Woodson and Kim Herring are the safeties. Very hard-hitting backfield for Baltimore. Third down and 6. The leading tackler, Lewis, right there at the Baltimore 45. Play clock is winding down to a second. McNair calmly gets the snap, fires across the middle, close to a first down with Sanders making the catch. Corey Harris, 45, with the tackle. He had to get almost to the 39, and that's about where they've spotted the ball.
And you'll see right here, just running a little delay. Nice little combination with Yancey Thigpen. He gets into the middle of the field, finds that little dead area between Corey Harris and Ray Lewis, and the offensive line did a great job of getting that whole play started with some great protection for Steve McNair.
And they bring the chains on from the far side. Tennessee on Monday night taking care of Jacksonville again, 27-13. Eddie George had 165 yards in that game. And Baltimore losing, and that's how shy they are, the first down by a chain link. So fourth down, that far to go. What would you do?
I tell you, this has been a physical game already. You've seen 2 little scuffles after some kicking plays. Jeff Fisher's going to set the tone. He's going to go for it on 4th and inches.
Third youngest coach in the National Football League, and 46-year-old Brian Billick, coach of Baltimore in his second season. A year ago, they went 8-8. And so a defensive stand called upon for Billick and his Ravens, as Tennessee, who lost here last December 41-14, will go for it on 4th and an inch.
Talking with Jeff Fisher yesterday, that game just got away from him late. It wasn't a 41-14 football game. He feels real good about his chances today.
39-yard line. Neal is in the backfield with Rodney Thomas. And Thomas gets the call, breaks one tackle of Ray Lewis, and did not even get back to the line of scrimmage. And Ray Lewis knocked him off his horse. The 3-time Pro Bowler Lewis out of Miami. And they turn it over in downs. On 4th and inches, it does not pay off for the Tennessee Titans.
And when you get into short yardage situations, the one thing you cannot have is penetration by that defensive line. Look at all of the purple jerseys that have gotten into the backfield of the Titans.
Thomas over George. Kind of an interesting call right there. We'll see Baltimore in a second. And you can see him there in the middle.
Here's Tony Siragusa right here, but I want you to watch fullback Lorenzo Neal as the play rolls. You'll see he'll be coming in right here in this direction, and he will collide right there with Tony Siragusa. Now, Tony's been down since we went to commercial break. They have brought the card out. They have asked the teams to leave the field, so this is looking like it could be a serious injury or something very preventative by the trainers.
Siragusa, who reported a training camp late in a contract dispute and has been really been dividing his time on the defensive line for Baltimore, is being helped up on the stretcher.
Again, here's Tony, and Lorenzo's going to be coming in here. Tony's going to fight through a block. His head is going to be exposed, and you'll see the collision there with Lorenzo Neal.
Kevin Long was pushing him sideways, so really didn't have any kind of control about where he was headed once he was being double teamed by the Titans. And they are rolling him now, as you can see, out onto the stretcher. His defense that Siragusa was a part of, #1 against the run in the National Football League. And visiting teams are getting under 58 yards per carry per game. And the thing is that today, Eddie George is being counted on heavily by Tennessee to have success against this defense.
And they have really become a run-oriented offense, and the injury to Tony Siragusa is going to be very difficult for the Baltimore Ravens to replace what he does in this defensive scheme. He's a very big man, but he has very quick feet. He's one of the guys that keeps the offensive linemen from getting onto Ray Lewis in that running game, allowing him to flow freely and make the plays. So this will be a difficult replacement for the Ravens in their run-stopping scheme.
An injury timeout as they assist Siragusa here in Baltimore.
Get your hands up!
Tony Siragusa has been taken off the field. Once we get word on his condition, we'll relay it to you. After a defensive stand by Baltimore, first down and 10 yards to go for the Baltimore offense from their 40-yard line. Hand off to Lewis, a block from Gash, and up the middle he goes before being tackled by Kenny Holmes after a gain of about 3 on the play. Holmes already has a sack to his credit. That brings up second down and 7.
And I'd really like to see the Baltimore Ravens come out and open up their offensive sets. If they continue to squeeze everything down in their offensive sets, the Tennessee Titans will pack their defense in. There's not going to be a lot of room for Jamal Lewis or Priest Holmes or whoever the running back is to find those lanes.
43-yard line, second down and 7. Holmes is in the backfield. And the handoff goes to Priest Holmes. A block from Gash. He breaks a tackle from Godfrey. And then Kennard Walker forces him out of bounds after he gets a first down at about the Tennessee 49-yard line on a gain of 8.
And this is one of the things they're going to have to do to be able to get that thing. It's going to help them score a touchdown. I know this sounds really obvious if you want to win a football game, but when you're the Baltimore Ravens and you haven't scored one in 3 games, you got to score one. Their defense has been asked to win football games. Their offense has to chip in. Don't bank on it. Tony Banks had a great day against his Tennessee Titans team last December. He's hoping that he can do it again today.
First down run. And on the 49-yard line of Tennessee, Baltimore, first down and 10. Curse almost off the sides. Banks to the air. Throws a pass, and it's caught by Condre Ismail. Grabbed by Denard Walker at the 29-yard line of Tennessee. It's a pickup of 20 yards on first down.
And this is going to be good for Tony Banks' start. He's got Condre Ismail up at the top. He's just running a simple post pattern. He gets in between the defenders, and Tony Banks delivers it. It's a little bit behind him, but it's complete. It's going to give him some confidence to build on that.
Ismail with his 23rd reception of the season. An initial word on Tony Siragusa. He has feeling in all of his extremities, and that is good. 29-yard line, first down and 10. Second possession of the day for Baltimore. The pitch out goes to Lewis. He cuts around the side, takes it inside the 25, and then was brought down by the linebackers on the play. Randall Godfrey. It's a gain of 6. Second down and 4 upcoming.
And one of the things you cannot do against either one of these the Ravens or the Titans defenses is run sideways. You've got to get north and south. They do a great job of penetrating, but they both have tremendous team speed, and they love to get to the football.
Denver, an early lead on Cincinnati. Brian Gracie is playing some fantastic quarterback for the Broncos. And Kansas City on top of undefeated St. Louis early. Second down 5 from the 24. Lewis again, cuts inside, then is stood up in the linebacking core by Godfrey again, and Blaine Bishop had something to say about that after a gain of 3, and the gain is down to about the 21-yard line. Word now from the Tennessee sideline, Eddie George has a sprained knee. His return is questionable. And that's why Rodney Thomas was in there on that 4th and inches. We were wondering why, and there he is. And they're explaining what happened to his knee. the number 1 rusher in the AFC. 3rd down and 2. Shotgun snap, and it goes to Lewis, who pitches it out to Holmes, who takes it and then fumbles it inside the 20. The ball with Michael Booker jumping on it, but not in time. He slid out of bounds with the ball. They'll mark it at the 11-yard line. Now they'll mark him down at the 17.
And actually, this is Jermaine Lewis in the backfield. It's not Tony Banks. They're trying to run that shovel pass underneath. Kenny Holmes does a great job of smelling it out, and he gets a hold of Priest Holmes. I don't know how Jermaine Lewis got him the football. You'll see right here. Here comes the blitz. They're going into it. What a great job by Kenny Holmes to see that play coming and stop and get involved in the middle of it and just break it down.
Priest Holmes' first fumble since December of '98. It's 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Banks back in there. Quarterback throws, and it goes off the fingertips and incomplete of rookie wide receiver Travis Taylor. Coverage by Denard Walker in the secondary for the Tennessee Titans.
And one of the things that everybody's talking about is the play of Tony Banks, but he's got to have some help from the people around him. This is a catchable ball for Travis Taylor. He runs a nice route. It's delivered on time. In a game for the first place in the AFC Central, you have got to get down and make that football play. Travis Taylor needs to make that play to give Tony Banks the confidence.
Over the last couple of games, the rookie out of Florida has dropped 2 balls. He's fumbled once and caught only 3 passes. 2nd down and 10 from the Tennessee 18. Handoff goes to Priest Holmes, who bangs his way inside the 5. Hand tackled at the 4. Picks up a run of 14 yards and a 1st down. So it's 1st and goal to go for the Ravens, as the combination of Jamal Lewis on 1 carry and this time Priest Holmes moving Baltimore downfield.
And look at the hole that they created, and what they're doing is they're pulling and trapping. They're not going to zone block, and let me tell you, Priest Holmes and Jamal Lewis and a 1-2 punch is going to be something that this Tennessee Titan defense has not faced up until this point this year. These are big physical running backs.
Lewis in the backfield with Gash. 1st and goal at the 3 of Tennessee. Hand off to Lewis, wrapped up and taken down immediately. As it came off the line, the linebacker Eddie Robinson got a hold of him and yanked him down. It'll be 2nd down and goal. No touchdowns in 3 games plus for Baltimore.
And you can look at some of the stats. They're not completing well on 3rd down. They're not getting a lot of yards, and they're making some mistakes. And all that stuff adds up to the fact that you haven't scored a touchdown in 3 games.
Lewis is left. Priest Holmes is in. 3 wide receivers deployed. 2nd down goal. Back about a half yard near the 4 for quarterback Tony Banks. It's Holmes trying to burrow his way up the middle, then stood up and brought down. Randall Godfrey got him after a gain of 3, stopping him in his tracks at the 1-yard line.
And what happened last week in the Washington Redskins game, they get a 1st and goal at the 1. They throw the ball on the 1st down. It's intercepted by the Redskins in the end zone. That's why I think you'll see Bill Belichick run the ball again, Coach Billick run the ball again here in this situation. I think he wants to put the onus on the front guys, run that physical style of football. I'd be very surprised to see a pass in this situation.
Jamal Lewis back in with Gash. 2 tight ends in, 1 receiver. 3rd and goal at the 1. Baltimore's 11th play on this drive. A fumble by Banks, which plagued him in St. Louis and plagues him here with a 3rd and goal. He falls on it at the 3. Now it'll be 4th and goal, and what do you do if you're Brian Billick?
I think you got to take your 3 points, get on the board, get the lead. But Tony Banks, this has been one of the things that he's had trouble with throughout his career. He'd actually gone 4 games without a fumble up until this point, and he hadn't really done that before in his career, but in a very critical situation, they have the fumble.
61 fumbles in 65 games for Banks. This guy has scored all the points over the last handful of games, and the field goal of 21 yards by Matt Stover is up and in. So Baltimore on their 2nd possession gets 3 on the board for Coach Brian Billick. And now the subsequent kickoff by Stover, who has accounted for the last 37 points for the 5-2 Ravens. A line drive boot and taken inside the 10-yard line by Derek Mason. He gets a block from Lorenzo Neal. He gets another block from Neal and takes it up to near the 36-yard line. It's a return of 29 yards, and Corey Harris made the tackle. One of the most dangerous return men in the NFL. But no George, at least now, for Tennessee.
TV. Some televisions have all the fun.
Beautiful Baltimore Harbor. A field goal by Matt Stover. 3-0. The Ravens on top. Tony Siragusa being taken to the hospital, but does have feelings. Lionel Dalton taking his place on the line. On the 36-yard line with Eddie George out. Second possession today by Tennessee. The pitch out to Rodney Thomas. And brought down from behind. A loss on the play back near the 33-yard line and shooting through Lionel Dalton, number 91. Last week he took the place of the injured Sam Adams. Today taking the place of the injured Tony Siragusa, who had to be taken off the field after a hit to his head. He has feeling in all of his extremities. He is being taken to the hospital. On the Tennessee side, Eddie George with a sprained MCL. And so Rodney Thomas, a former third-round pick out of Texas A&M, is taking his place. Second down and 12, back near the 34. With a lead block by Miller and a tackle by Sharper, a run near the 40-yard line. A gain of 5 on the play by Rodney Thomas. And let's check in with our NFL Today studios and Jim Nance.
All right, Kevin. Well, we saw New England score first, J.R. Redmond from Bledsoe, but right back comes Manning. Off play action, Marvin Harrison, 51 yards to tie it at 7. And let's go back to Kevin Darrell.
All right, thank you, Jim. Indianapolis has won 8 of their last 10 games in the RCA Dome, the number 3 scoring team in the NFL. Here, 3rd and 7. Near the 39-yard line in the shotgun formation, Steve McNair. 6 defensive backs in. There's a good block by Miller. A little screen pass caught by the tight end Lychek, who is stood up and taken down by Robert Bailey. The 10-year veteran out of Miami, a guy who came from the Lions. A gain of 1 on the play, and Baltimore's defense again holds one of the top offenses in the NFL.
You can see what they've been doing through the course of the season. They have already had 3 shutouts up until this point, 2 of those back-to-back. This is going to be a very difficult situation for the Tennessee Titans without Eddie George. Even if he comes back and he's not 100%, Rodney Thomas and those guys up front are going to have to assume a lot of pressure to get this ball rolling for the Titans.
Greg Hendrick will punt inside the 30-yard line for Tennessee. Jermaine Lewis is back inside the 20. Jermaine Lewis in his career has returned 4 punts for touchdowns. High hanging punt. And backpedaling almost inside the 5 is Lewis. Michael Booker was there, and then Rodney Thomas finally makes the special teams tackle. He's the guy taking the place of the injured Eddie George. 55-yard punt, 11-yard return flag on the field at the 40. Jerry Austin, first time we've seen him today, is our referee here in Baltimore this afternoon.
Holding 51 of the receiving team during the kick. Half a distance to the goal. First down, Baltimore. That's
Cornell Brown, linebacker for Brian Billick, who leads Tennessee because of his defense 3-0.
Look! Enter the sensational Michael Vick. Ford, Georgia goes into Gator territory to face Florida. Next Saturday on CBS.
Jeff Fisher took over this franchise as a head coach in mid-1994, and his team has won 18 of the last 19 AFC Central Division games, going back to, October of 1998.
The only team to beat Tennessee in the AFC Central over the last 2 years are the Baltimore Ravens. So this is why this is such a pivotal game at this juncture of the season, especially for first place. It's a huge game for both of these teams to take that next step.
There was a penalty on Baltimore after the 55-yard punt. It was a hold, and that's why they begin back at their 3-yard line. The last drive didn't look all that bad as Tony Banks, unfortunately, fumbled out. If you're a Baltimore fan, fumbled on the 3-yard line in a goal-to-go situation, and they had to settle for a 21-yard field goal by Matt Stover. So from their own 3, it's first down and 10 yards to go. Not a lot of breathing space here. Stranded at their own 3. He's going to pass, gets a block from Lewis, throws outside, and the catch is made by Travis Taylor at about the 8-yard line. Taylor makes his 22nd reception of the season. That is number 2 among rookie wide receivers in the NFL.
And this is a nice call by Brian Billick coming off of his goal line. giving confidence to Tony Banks to throw the ball, and also to Travis Taylor, who had that chance to make a touchdown catch on that last drive. Good for both of these young guys to get some confidence in this early part of the game.
10th overall selection out of Steve Spurrier's offense at Florida. 2nd down and 5. Up near the 8. And Gash may have moved. The handoff goes to Jamal Lewis, who is taken down by Eddie Robinson, the linebacker. And no flag on this side, but one on the other side. And that's what Jerry Austin has seen and will tell us about.
Offside, 99 defense. 5 yards.
If you watch it, Sam Gash moved in the backfield, but they didn't catch it. And they call it on Holmes, and it's a first down for the Baltimore Ravens. And Gash starting today for Ian Badejo, who is injured with the toe.
And by George, boy, there's a big blow for the Tennessee Titans right there, not to have Eddie George, their workhorse, and they're going to have him healthy if they're going to repeat the Super Bowl. And remember the Titans, the Baltimore Ravens get a lot of credit, but the Tennessee Titans defense is actually ranked higher than the Ravens.
Number 4 in the NFL, first down and 10, a pass intended for the Hall of Fame to be tight end Shannon Sharp is incomplete. It's tapped at the line of scrimmage. Sharp spending all those seasons with the Denver Broncos. Now here, still tied at the RCA Dome, Minnesota. Undefeated, one of 2 undefeated teams in the NFL. Early lead on Buffalo, and Doug Flutie starting today at quarterback, and there's Denver holding on. Their record 4-3 against winless Cincinnati. Now 2nd down and 10 at the 13. Banks with time, throwing deep, looking for Ismail, and almost caught. Incomplete coverage by Danon Sidney. Sidney was inactive a week ago with the hamstring. He's about 80% today and trying to guard the missile, Qadry Ismail.
And both of these defenses are very aggressive style defenses. You're going to see a lot of different blitzes and stuff. You'll see all the linebackers here. They're coming in. They're crossing everywhere. It puts a lot of pressure on the backs and the offensive line to be able to switch their men. And what that does, it allows Tony Banks to go to the outside. This is the strong part of his game, is throwing the deep ball. He's going to have some opportunities in this blitz game today.
So as a former fullback, do you call out who you've got, or you just take the first guy coming at you?
The running back has to react to what the offensive line does. It moves too fast for you to be able to yell switch or to tell which man you're going to go to.
3rd and 13. Make it 3rd and 10 from the 13. And here's a pass by Banks, and it's caught. It's a 25-yard line. It's a grab and a first down catch by Travis Taylor. On 3rd and 10, they pick up 13 yards, and Banks is right on the money as we send it downstairs to Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I have information, great news on Tony Siragusa. He has a bruised spinal cord, but he's okay. He's up and walking, moving all external extremities. They are taking him to the University of Maryland Hospital Shock Trauma Center for an MRI, but the information and the news is very good. Back upstairs.
Thank you, Bees. That's terrific news. And you can see the first downs. What a difference with the Baltimore Ravens. 26-yard line, first down and 10 yards to go. Pitch out goes to Priest Holmes, looking for a block. He got it from Jonathan Ogden and picks up room up near the 25-yard line, maybe a half-yard gain on the play. Randall Godfrey and Kenny Holmes make the Tennessee tackle. It's Godfrey again, your former teammate with the Dallas Cowboys, and get live updates for each NFL game as it happens. Just click on live scores at cbs.sportsline.com.
And what we just saw on that last play is something that Jeff Fisher talked to us about yesterday. They're going to use Marcus Robertson to come up and get into that 8-man front, because Tony Banks and everybody else they're going to be looking for Blaine Bishop. They're going to use Marcus Robertson to try and confuse them.
2nd and 11 from the 25, 11 yards to go, and a pass to the near side is caught but caught out of bounds. So it is incomplete. They were going for Ismail with 9 seconds to play in the first quarter. That brings up 3rd and 11.
You can see right here, this is one of the times Marcus was dropping back out of it, but what Tony Banks talked about, what Brian Billick talked about, was finding Blaine Bishop. And what they're going to do to try and confuse him is bring Marcus Robertson down as that 8th guy into the front to see if their whole game plan is predicated on checks against Blaine Bishop. I think it's a great strategy. We'll see how this unfolds as the first half progresses.
Look at the veteran Marcus Robertson. There's Blaine Bishop. Banks is 4 of 8 throwing. It's 3rd down and 11 from the 25. No time in the play clock. That's a delayed game against Baltimore. They had one last week. against the Washington Redskins.
Offense, 5 yards. It's still third down.
That is the 7th delay of game penalty on this offense. That is the most in the NFL, much to the chagrin of Coach Brian Billick. So now 3rd and 16 as they march it inside the Baltimore 21. They began this drive, the Ravens did, back at their own 3. So they've had a hard time getting some breathing space here. 3rd and 16, shy of the 21. Banks with Curse coming in, maneuvering up as Banks throws a first down pass downfield, caught by Ismail. Tackle made by Godfrey. On 3rd and 16, he picks up 24 yards up near the 43-yard line. A terrific throw and a catch.
And watch your inside receiver go up the field and clear out the route for Qadry Ismail to come in behind him. He opens up that zone, and Tony Banks steps up and finds him for the first down.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Baltimore Ravens 3, the Tennessee Titans nothing. We'll return to the stadium here in Baltimore right after this message from your local CBS station. It's Tennessee, but with no Eddie George because of a knee injury suffered early in the game. They've only held it for 4 minutes. Baltimore's held the ball for 11 minutes. Now as we begin the second quarter, it's first down and 10 from the 45. And a pass caught by the spinning Ben Coates inside the 35-yard line. He's down to the 32. It's a gain of 23 yards, and again, Banks right on the money.
Ben Coates is one of the guys that a lot of the people that are Baltimore Ravens fans have been wondering hasn't been into the offense. He releases, he's just going to go straight up the street, right up the seam. What they're able to do is they're finding some seams in this Tennessee Titan defense. They're getting some pressure up in Banks' face, but the receivers are running good routes, and they're finding the open seams in the secondary.
That is only the 5th catch all season long by Coates. From the 33, Banks in the offense of Baltimore, 1st and 10. Hand off to Jamal Lewis, breaks the tackle, and then finally brought down by Marcus Robertson after a gain of about 5 yards on the play near the 28-yard line. They love this rookie, who is out of Tennessee. Coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report, join Jim, Mike, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights, plus all the latest NFL news. That's coming up next on the NASDAQ.com halftime report from 5th Avenue in New York. 2nd down and 5 at the Tennessee 28. Priest Holmes is in there, and he gets a block from Sharp. And then he was wrestled and brought down by Blaine Bishop after a meager gain of 2. Bishop, a 3-time Pro Bowler, and the guy that you had to block when you played for the Cowboys.
He is a physical player coming out of the secondary. And one of the things that I think is true for both of these defenses is you can't run side to side on them. There's too much speed in their front 7 and their secondary. You've got to get up and run the ball north and south. And that last play, you saw Priest Holmes running that stretch play. But the play before that, they put Sam Gash in the backfield and run straight out in between the tackles. I think that's what Baltimore has to do against this defense.
3rd down 3 from the 27. Banks has converted 2 third downs on this drive. And he makes it 3 with the catch right there. And it's grabbed by Patrick Johnson. Johnson only catches his 3rd reception of the season. He beat LSU defensive back Denard Walker. And it's the 3rd down conversion on this Baltimore drive.
And Jeff Fisher talked about this play in our conference with him yesterday. All they do is run a simple little hitch pattern. Tony Banks comes out and throws it. He feels that that's one of the stronger underneath passes that he throws. But the good thing about it, they came up and wrapped him up with the tackle. In that game last year where Baltimore beat them 41-14, they weren't tackling well, and they were letting those little hitches turn into big plays.
From the Tennessee 22, 1st and 10 for Baltimore. The pitch out goes to Lewis, one-on-one with Favors, who devours him back at the 24. The linebacker's so quick, so fast for Tennessee. Loss of 2 on the play back near the 24-25-yard line.
It's going to be an all-day affair for both of these teams. They're going to try and run against these defenses. They are. I can't tell you how quick they are. Watching them on film, they take pride in getting everybody to the ball. The one thing they talk about is while you're watching film as a group, you do not want to be the last guy that shows up on film. So you're going to see 7, 8, 9 guys getting to this football.
Both teams take that philosophy. 24-yard line, 2nd down and 12. 13th play of this drive that began back inside the 3 of Baltimore. Play action by Banks. Loads of time to throw to the end zone. dropped by the rookie Travis Taylor. He was covered by Denard Walker. Incomplete pass. Walker was all over him. Good coverage.
That's excellent coverage by Denard Walker. He actually had Travis Taylor early. You'll see him come up. He's going to just be running a post route off the play action in the backfield. What a great break by Denard Walker. Look at him. He's right in his hip pocket, and he doesn't play through the back. There's no pass interference right there. He does a great job of going to the ball.
Second time that Banks has thrown into the end zone to Taylor today.
That seems to be a matchup that they want to use, and it's a similar route, too. It's that post pattern. The fans here are starting to boo a little bit, but that was great coverage by Denard Walker.
Inside the Tennessee 25, 3rd down and 12 for Banks. They go that one dead before he has a chance to materialize. 11:32 to play here in the second quarter. And looks like false start.
Prior to the snap, false start, 70 offense, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
It's the veteran Harry Swain. As you see now that New England, who beat Indianapolis earlier this season in Foxborough, up by 3 in Indianapolis this afternoon. And now Buffalo has taken a lead. Eric Moulds, one of the great young wide receivers in the AFC East, grabbing one, and 7-3 now with Flutie throwing the touchdown pass. Denver still holding on over Cincinnati. Here 3rd and 17 inside the 30. Baltimore in Tennessee territory. Good block by Ogden. Time for Banks, who had the ball knocked away. He reels it in. He's got to get to the 23, and he scrambles near the 20-yard line, and he's shy of the first down with shoving and pushing all over the field. And somebody in that fray lost the helmet, and so they're going to have to settle for 3 once again. He gains 9 on 3rd and 17.
And you can see the upfield speed of Javon Curse. He's going to come all the way around the outside, and he's going to force Tony Banks it. I tell you, there's some great agility right there, because you talk about a scrambling quarterback, but what he did is he gave himself some time in the pocket to move around. He's still looking to get that ball thrown away. Then he tucks it down and tries to get the first down.
Stover has made 16 consecutive field goals at home. This from 38 yards away, and it is perfect. So as long as Stover continues to hit him, Baltimore might be in pretty good shape. They still haven't scored a touchdown, yet they lead 6-0. Kickoff, and Tennessee with the #1 kickoff return team in the NFL, taken by Mason and wrapped up and brought down by Mitchell and by O.J. Brigance. And there seems to be a tussle for the ball. They're down at the 24-yard line, but we have not gotten any signal from the officials. As far as we know, it's Tennessee's ball.
Clear alternative to cellular today. And by Wendy's Bacon Mushroom Melt. When you gotta have one, you gotta have one.
And Monday on CBS begins with an all-new King of Queens, followed by Yes Dear, Everybody Loves Raymond, Becker with Ted Danson, and Family Law with new cast member Tony Danza. All here tomorrow night on CBS. Eddie George out of the game, injured on the first series, sprained MCL. So Rodney Thomas has taken his place. Only the 3rd possession today from the 24. First down and 10 by the defending AFC champion Tennessee Titans. The fake, and McNair with the pocket crumbling, runs into his center and runs for the first down. A great move on Herring, and he takes it up to the 49-yard line. Scrambling on the play for 24 yards. That is Tennessee's first down today.
And here's one of the things that a scrambling quarterback presents to a defense. Protection breaks down. He gets out of the pocket, and because they had man-to-man coverage and everybody was flooding the right side of the football field, there was nobody left on the left side. Steve McNair gets a big run out of that.
That is the longest run this season by quarterback Steve McNair. Titans in sole possession of first place in the AFC Central. Half-game lead on their opponent today, Baltimore. Near the 49, McNair 1st and 10. Somebody was moving. It looked like Sam Adams. Here comes McNair being chased by McCrary, throws a wobbly pass, incomplete downfield to Wycheck. Incomplete, and no yellow on the field. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
So I agree with you, Kevin. It looked like Sam Adams had to be offsides. But that's what Rex Ryan wants. He wants these guys to penetrate, to occupy the linemen, to let the linebackers run free. But boy, oh boy, I tell you, he had that snap count timed up perfectly. Steve McNair right now needs to go on a quick count, go on a long, hard count to take advantage of the aggressive play of those front those guys on the front line.
Second down, 10 near the 49. McNair to Rodney Thomas, a block by Benji Olsen, slithers past midfield and down to the 46. Woodson and Herring bring him down after a gain of 5. He's at the 46-yard line right there as you take a look at the Hall of Famer to be Rod Woodson. Tennessee coming in. They've won 5 consecutive games. Baltimore has not scored a touchdown in their last 3+ games. They've won 3 of their last 4.
And the reason I feel that Tennessee is the class of the AFC is because they are getting better and better every week. Baltimore is struggling right now offensively. I really feel that that gives Tennessee the edge, but without Eddie George in the lineup, this is a different football team.
Tennessee, the number 2 third down offense in the NFL. 3rd and 5 from the 46. McNair airing it out, going deep, looking for Sanders, covered on the play by Dwayne Starks. Incomplete pass. No yellow on the field, and Tennessee has to punt for a second time in 3 possessions.
And here's the contact up at the top of the screen. There's a little hold right there. I think that Jeff Fisher and Chris Sanders are right to want a penalty on that flag. He had beaten Dwayne Starks with a little swing move to the outside. He reached back, grabbed a little bit of jersey to slow him down.
3 possessions. Second punt coming up for Hendrick. On the first possession, they lost it on downs in Baltimore territory near the 45. Setting up the return, Jermaine Lewis is back, and he'll have this one bounce in front of him. And along the 10-yard line, up near the 12. Finally downed by Greg Favors, the linebacker. 33-yard punt by the former Pro Bowler Hendrick. One in the mind to Jeff Fisher, including his number 1 weapon offensively out, Jeff Jordan.
One inside the red zone, one at about the 21. No touchdowns. They haven't scored a touchdown in 3 games. They've got to pick up that side of the game. Back upstairs.
All right, thank you. As you take a look at Brian Billick, coach of Baltimore, and his quarterback Tony Banks at the 13-yard line with a 1st and 10. Couple long drives by Baltimore. Here's the pitch out. And it goes to Jamal Lewis. A nice driving block by Ogden. Still can't move Kenny Holmes away, and no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. By the way, Jeff George is not playing in this game. It is Eddie George, or they didn't trade for him. But I saw a lot of.
And Bill Belichick is not coaching in this game.
I saw a lot of Redskin tape last week, and I think there's some thought that maybe he would be in there as a quarterback. Tuesday on CBS, F-14s are falling from the sky. Is it a government conspiracy or an act of terrorism? Find out on an all-new Jag Tuesday on CBS. 2nd down and 10, remaining at the 13. A lot of people on that defensive line. Ogden the block. Time for Banks to throw. Caught! Shannon Sharp up near the 38-yard line. A gain of 25 on the play. And a Baltimore 1st down. They're working on the linebacker Robinson and the safety Marcus Robertson.
You see Shannon Sharp, he's going to be out here on your screen. He's going to do the same thing Ben Coates did. He's going to come down that seam and find the open area. They've got Eddie Robinson on the ball to try and prevent him from having a clean release, but Eddie let him get off the ball clean. Gave him a little stutter there, got the separation.
Out to the 38-yard line. Banks 1st and 10 for Baltimore on top on 2 Stover field goals. Blocked by Lewis, bangs the time to the side, and it's caught by Qadry Ismail. 46-yard line, grabbed on the play by Danon Sidney. It's a gain of 15 on 1st and 10.
And this is very surprising to me because Tennessee is very, very good at pass defense, and right now they're giving up some holes, giving up some seams. Right there, just got totally turned around by Qadry Ismail. This is something that I didn't think that Tony Banks was going to be able to do. I really felt they were going to have to run the ball effectively against Tennessee, but he's proven me wrong. He's throwing the ball very well right now.
Number 2 pass defense of the Titans in the NFL. 9-14 day for Banks. 1st down and 10 inside the 47. Blitz is on by Bishop, picked up nicely, and off to Jamal Lewis, breaks 1 tackle, then Jason Fisk brings him down at the 38-yard line after a gain of 8. He weighs 231 pounds and is dragging linemen back of him. Kansas City 20-7 over the St. Louis Rams. What a surprise. It's a big battle today. New Orleans has a chance to go to above 500 for the first time in a long time. And there's San Francisco and Carolina. 2nd down, long 2 inside the 39. to Lewis, who provides the block. Here comes the rush. He gets by Chris, who runs inside the 36, which was the first down. He's down to the 34. A scrambling gain of 5 for Tony Banks. He had an earlier run this afternoon of 24 yards. That's a first down run right there.
And right now, the Tennessee front is doing everything right. Look at Jason Thornton, Javon Curse, everybody's right there, but what they're not doing is they're not converging on Tony Banks. They're running by him and letting him step up. John Thornton's got to close in. Javon Curse has got to come under control. They've beaten their man, but they're not finishing the play with the sack.
34-yard line, 1st and 10. Blocked by Ogden, the run by Lewis. And he picks up a couple yards. Kenny Robinson was right there to make the stop in the linebacking core on Jamal Lewis, the second leading rookie running back in the National Football League, and back to Mike Anderson, who's grabbing all kinds of headlines out in Denver.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Talked about him on a play a couple of plays ago, dragging the defensive lineman downfield. He's such a big, powerful man, and that's why Tennessee has got to get a lot of guys around the ball, because Jamal Lewis is not going to go down by one tackler.
2nd down 10, 7th play of the drive. 34-yard line of Tennessee. Banks somehow gets away, and the elusive Baltimore quarterback saved a sack on that play and wisely threw it away.
He's shown a lot of composure today. He's playing much better than he has the last couple of games. And I think that one of the things he said was the way he pressed when he came onto the football field. And an interesting comment that he made, he wanted to put the football team on his shoulders and carry them. And I don't think Tony Banks needs to do that. He's got Kadre Ishmael. He's got Shannon Sharp. He's got Jamal Lewis. He's got some good people around him. He doesn't have to pick this football team up and carry them offensively.
Banks has been effective on 3rd down passing today. Now faced with 3rd and 10, 34-yard line of the Titans. Center by Flynn. Here comes the blitz by Bishop, and a flag has been thrown on the play. False start is the call.
False start, 89 offense, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
That's the rookie Travis Taylor and an angry Brian Billick on the side. This kid has had his up and down as a rookie wide receiver.
And you're kind of hitting that rookie wall right now. And I know it sounds strange to people listening out there, but as a college football player, you play the 11-game schedule. You've got a couple of weeks of training camp. These guys have gone through 5 preseason games. Now they're into game 6, game 7 of the regular season. Their college season, their body is telling them that the college season is over right now. Why are we still out here running around?
Back to the 39 with the penalty. 3rd down and 15. Shannon Sharp on the move. Blitzes on again. They dump it out to Priest Holmes, who's grabbed by Gottfried and then whacked by Bishop out of bounds. So a loss on the play at about the 42, 43-yard line. Loss of a couple. And Baltimore will have to punt for a 2nd time in 4 possessions. But they have moved the ball, and Banks does look much sharper than he has the last couple of weeks.
He really does. He's been throwing the ball well on times, the outside. He's been finding the guys underneath, and the guys are helping him out. Shannon Sharp's finding some seams. Ben Coates is getting into the action a little bit, but he's having that supporting cast step up and help him out, which he hasn't had the last couple of weeks.
Kyle Richardson's punt is fair caught at the 16-yard line by Derek Mason. 26-yard punt. Mason, one of the top return men in the NFL. As we take a look at Tony Banks, he and the Ravens lead 6-0.
And by E-Trade. It's your money.
First place is on the line here in Baltimore this afternoon, with the Ravens on 2 Stover field goals on top. Eddie George is out with a sprained knee. On the 16-yard line, Steve McNair with the 1st and 10. Rodney Thomas is in the backfield. This pass goes high and almost uncatchable by Chris Sanders. Coverage by Woodson. Incomplete at about the 21-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
I think the thing you have to worry about now on the Tennessee side is that Steve McNair doesn't start to press a little bit. With Eddie George being out of the lineup, all of a sudden he feels that he really has to start doing more to help this football team win. Relax, play your game. You've got a great game plan. Rodney Thomas is going to be expected to come in. He's not Eddie George, but he's going to know what to do. You got to rely on everybody around you.
And McNair has played so poised this season. Remaining at the 16, 2nd and 10. A fumble and fallen upon at the 10-yard line by McNair. They're trying to go to Rodney Thomas, and the guy who may have disturbed that play was Sam Adams, the ex-Seattle Seahawk, who for a second time has had great penetration.
And you'll see here on this, look at the penetration. He is up and going. He is splitting double teams. Kevin Long can't get on that block back. They have got to do something right now about Sam Adams, or they are not going to be able to run the football at all.
With the loss back on the fumble at the 10, 3rd down and 16. Four receivers deployed. Maybe a blitz. Larry Lewis looks like it. Everybody falls back. No blitz on the play. Look at the time for McNair. Dumps it off to Thomas. Grabbed by Corey Harris at the 11. It's a gain of 1. They had to get up to the 26. And 3 and out for the number 4 offense in the National Football League. They've got a punt.
And to me, that's part of Baltimore's game as a defensive football team. They're going to frustrate you. Jeff Fisher's got to get his guys together on the sideline as an offensive unit and let him know, hey, this is our game plan. We're going to sit in there and keep going. And there's a crowd cheer for Tony Saragusa, who's walking back on the field. That's probably the best thing we've seen all game.
Hendrick to punt. Jermaine Lewis drifting back at his own 28-yard line. And they'll try to dance, getting by Bullock, and then Bullock knocked him just off stride enough that he fell and lost his balance at about the 36. That's the rookie first-round pick out of Syracuse. 62-yard punt by Craig Hendrick, a beauty. Friday on CBS, if you think you already know the future.
And you can see the dominance right there by the Ravens. They have controlled the football game up until this point. Time of possession, total yards, first downs, just about every offensive category.
36-yard line, 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Lewis, who tripped as he tried to cut, and then falling on him was John Thornton after a gain of 1. 2nd down and 9. As Tony Saragusa is back in the house. And he had a bruised spinal column, we were told. But he's back after the X-rays. Timeout taken, the first burned by the Ravens, who are shutting out Tennessee.
Are you following PHRN?
And 4 in the last 9 games. Their offense on the field right now. 2nd down 9 near the 38. Banks getting a good block, and the ball knocked free. Ogden reels it in, vacuums it in back near the 28-yard line. That's the 2nd time that Banks has fumbled today. The first time was back on the 3 in a goal-to-go situation, and right there he loses 10.
And Kenny Holmes is going to be coming from the top of your screen. He's going against Jonathan Ogden, who's not 100%, but you've got Javon Curse. I think a lot of people forget about Kenny Holmes.
And we are at the 2-minute warning here in the first half, with first place on the line.
Anxious, doubtful, not how you should feel.
Baltimore has played the last 3 games on the road. 5 of their 7 have been away, so they're back home here for the first time in a long time. We are at the 2-minute warning. Banks, you may recall, taking us to the 2-minute warning with a fumble, the 62nd in his 65 games as an NFL quarterback. 3rd and 18. Banks, pocket crumbles, deftly moves up, gets a block from Kip Vickers, being chased by Sidney, throws down the sideline, incomplete. Triple teamed was Travis Taylor, the primary coverage by Denard Walker. And so now they've got to punt the ball for the 2nd consecutive time. Well, coming up in the NASDAQ.com halftime report, join Jim, Mike, and Jerry. All the scores, all the highlights, including an upset in the making. In fact, 2 in the making. Buffalo was leading at undefeated Minnesota earlier, 7-3, in Kansas City on a wet track in Arrowhead Stadium. Was leading 20-7 over the undefeated 6-0 Super Bowl champion St. Louis Rams. Richardson to punt. Pressure was on, and it's a wobbly punt. Mason from the 33. Gets a block. He gets around the oncoming tackle. Trap moves up the sideline, being chased by Sharper, and takes it down to the 39-yard line. Terrific return by Mason of 29 yards on the 39-yard punt. Next Saturday on the Home Depot College Football, Georgia will take on Florida, or Michael Vick and Virginia Tech take on Pittsburgh. It all begins in the Volkswagen College Football Today at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. 2 Stover field goals, one of 21 yards, one of 38 yards. Tennessee came in as the #1 possession team in the NFL. They are well behind Baltimore today, but they got pretty good position here, shy of the Raven 38, first down and 10. Eddie George is injured. Rodney Thomas is in the backfield. And McNair fires a pass, and it's caught near the 30-yard line by Sanders and close to a first down. Run out of bounds by veteran Dwayne Starks.
Derek Mason right here just running a simple little quick out route, but watch him at the end of the route with his feet. He's going to go out of bounds. He realizes he can go up the field a little bit more. That's a pretty heady play right there in this situation. And what's going to happen right now is so important for the Baltimore defense because they have outplayed Tennessee on both sides of the ball. A touchdown here puts them ahead 7-6 at halftime. Very demoralizing for that football team.
Second down and 1 from the 29. After the nice pickup by Sanders. Here's Rodney Thomas cutting around a white check block and stood up by Herring and brought down inside the 15-yard line on a gain of 15 yards. And Tennessee will burn their first time out. That's a good point, Bill. It would be very demoralizing. Timeout taken. Is caught by Mason, a gain of 4. Harris made the stop, and they're going to mark the ball near the 10, inside the 11.
One of the things you're going to notice during the course of this game is each of these guys are tackled on both sides of the ball in the offense. Watch the hits that the defense do. They don't tackle people. They absolutely punish you when they have the chance.
Second down and 6. Thomas gained by Boulware. Chased outside by Lewis and smothered at the 9. Gain of 2. Clock at 51 seconds. Tennessee has taken a second timeout. They've got 1 left. And Tony Siragusa has come back out onto the field.
I don't agree with this move right here. They were very cautious with Tony when he got hurt. They immobilized him. They were very careful getting him onto the backboard and off the football field. I just don't think it's smart to put him on the football field right now. If you were that cautious up until that point, why are you letting him go back onto the football field? Every football player is wanting to get back out on that field, whether he thinks he can or he can't. It's up to the training staff to say, Tony, just sit down. You know, that was a very scary situation. Let us run some more tests tomorrow, later tonight. I would not let him go back out on the football field the rest of today if I was a trainer.
After the second Tennessee timeout, McNair has gotten the word. Third down and 5 at the 9-yard line of Baltimore. Wonderful red zone Baltimore defense. 3rd and 5 from the 9. McNair, pocket crumbles. Here comes Adams. McNair gets away, throws the pass, caught for a touchdown by Eddie George's replacement, Rodney Thomas. A 9-yard touchdown pass, and Thomas's first touchdown reception of the season. And it couldn't have come at a better time for the Titans.
What a great job by Steve McNair. You talked about the pocket breaking down. You'll see him back here. Here comes Sam Adams again. He steps up. Look at the spin move to get away from Rob Burnett, and then him and Rodney Thomas. What great. They were just totally in sync right there. Composure. Each guy knowing what the other guy was going to do. What a great job. And with the extra point, we get to that situation we talked about. They have been totally outplayed, and they're going to go in at halftime ahead 7-6.
With that point right there by Al Del Greco. Rodney Thomas, a 9-yard touchdown run after the pass, and he was the leading rusher on this team as a rookie. And then the next year they drafted Eddie George, and he has been in George's shadow ever since. But coming to play, a key 29-yard punt return by Derek Mason, a 9-yard run and catch by Rodney Thomas. As you take a look at the Patriots still leading at Indianapolis, and there's an upset in the making with the Buffalo Bills on top. Denver leading now as Cincinnati has cut the margin right there. Last I saw, and there it is, Kansas City with about 3 to play in the first half, 27-14. Torrey Holt just caught a touchdown pass. Atlanta leading 13-7 over New Orleans, and all the updates and all the highlights coming up next on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Siragusa was in on that last play, and allowed the touchdown. They have not allowed a bunch. This defense has been absolutely outstanding for Baltimore. And the ensuing kickoff on the 12-yard line. It's Corey Harris running up the middle, and finally brought down on the play by Terry Killens, along with Chamberlain. And so the winner today is in first place right now, coming in Tennessee by a half game over second place Baltimore. They still have not scored. Baltimore hasn't in over 3 games a touchdown. Yet they're 5-2, and here they are down by just a point to first place Tennessee, arguably the hottest team in the NFL right now. They've won 5 consecutive games.
They've definitely separated themselves in the AFC. They are definitely the top team in the AFC right now in my eyes.
38-yard line, 37 seconds to play. Baltimore with 2 timeouts. A shotgun snap by Flynn. Outside it goes for Sharp. Wisely gets out of bounds near the 41-yard line. Shoved out of play by George McCullough. It's a gain of 4 on the play and stopping the clock at 32 seconds.
And a field goal right here is going to do wonders for the Baltimore Ravens. If they can get back the lead at 9-7 and go in at halftime ahead, it's going to be much more important for them from a mental standpoint to be leading after the way they have played this half.
3 receivers platooned. Again, Banks in the gun. Second down and 6 at the 42. 3-man rush. Blocked by Ogden, pass outside, caught by Jermaine Lewis, wrapped up by Michael Booker, the ex-Atlanta Falcon. It's a gain of 4. And the clock at 26 seconds. And a timeout has been taken. And now Baltimore has but 1 remaining here in the first half. And tonight on 60 Minutes, while other kids play baseball, football, or basketball, this kid plays the stock market. So far, he's already ahead by a cool $500,000. Meet him. I'd like to. 60 Minutes tonight, followed by an all-new episode of Touched by an Angel, and then the CBS Sunday movie Yesterday's Children. It's all here tonight on CBS. Timeout Story with a 3rd and 2 at the 46 of Baltimore. Banks passing today, 11 of 18. Handoff, Priest Holmes, up the middle he goes. Brought down by Sidney along with Perry Phoenix. And a meager gain, but good enough for the first down. And a timeout taken by Baltimore. That is their final timeout. So 22 seconds to play. 1st and 10 at their own 49, down by a point after Jeff Fisher and his Tennessee Titans trailed for most of this first half.
And that's why it's so important to get in position to try a field goal to get that lead back. And Matt Stover has been their biggest offensive weapon throughout the course of this season. They need to get down to about the 33, the 35-yard line to really make it a legitimate opportunity. But Tennessee's doing the right thing right now in the defense. They're making them catch the ball underneath. They're coming up and tackling them. They forced them to burn both their timeouts. So now Baltimore's going to have to force to do this without any more timeouts left.
Stover did kick a 51-yarder last week. 49-yard line, 1st and 10. Again, Curse has been quiet, and the rush comes on, and the pressure is there, and knocked away. Perry Phoenix was right in the face of the quarterback. Curse and Ogden are waging war at the top of your screen.
And here he comes, right off the corner. You can't wait for that guy to come in and get that close to the quarterback. You've got to step up and take a stand as a running back when you're blocking the blitz. You'll see right here, Priest Holmes he's backing up and he's giving ground. You've got to make a stand and keep that guy so your quarterback has the opportunity to throw that football.
Perry Phoenix gets in there. No timeouts for Baltimore. 2nd down and 10. Going out of the pocket is Banks. Changed position, and then Thornton came and got him, and then doused by Blaine Bishop. 3rd sack today by Tennessee. 12 seconds remaining, and Baltimore's out of timeouts, and the clock ticks right now.
And here comes Blaine all the way from the backside, and it's Priest Holmes again, too. The pocket's moving. He thinks he doesn't have to hold his block that long. I tell you what, you're going to get your quarterback hurt in that situation.
So the defense did a pretty good job against an Eddie George-less Tennessee offense today. Tennessee held to only 3 first downs and 82 total offensive yards. Downstairs we go to Beasley Reese.
All right, thank you. I'm with Rod Woodson. Rod, McNair's mobility was a problem in the first half.
Well, we got to keep contained. He's a big guy. had opportunities. You got to wrap him up when we get a hold of him. We had a hold of him a couple times, and he got out both times. And can't let that happen in the second half.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us. Back upstairs.
Difference in this ball game, a 9-yard touchdown pass from Steve McNair to Rodney Thomas, who is taking the place of the injured Eddie George, whose return today is questionable. George has only carried it one time. That takes us to halftime with Tennessee, the first place team in the Central, leading a Rodney Thomas 9-yard touchdown catch and run. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local CBS station. On top, let's go downstairs as Beasley Reese is standing by with the great tight end receiver for the Titans, Frank Wycheck. Beasley?
Frank, you survived the loss of Eddie George. A very patient offense. You finally got on top.
Yeah, we were frustrated early on. They did a great job of, getting us out of sync, out of our rhythm. We lost Eddie early, but we have a competent back, and Rodney Thomas is running hard. But, it's just a matter of getting into a rhythm and getting on the field. We weren't on the field for very long in the first half.
Anything that Coach said or you feel like you guys need to do for the second half?
Well, I think we had a big momentum change going down there at the end of the first half. And we just got to stick to our plans, stay patient. We knew it was going to be an ugly game. So we'll take the score right now and just try to stay on the field more in the second half.
All right, thanks a lot. Back upstairs.
All right, Beasley, thank you very much. And the second half is underway. The Stover kick picked up at the 10-yard line by Mason, who is whacked once by Alexander, gets outside, and then is wrestled out of play at about the 25-yard line. And through 30 minutes, here are some of our numbers.
And here's the thing that Frank Wycheck was talking about. They were just never on the field as an offense. Just totally outplayed number of plays, time of possession, and that was one of Tennessee's strengths coming into the football game. But without Eddie George, I totally agree with them. They got frustrated a little bit in the beginning of the game. It took them a while to settle down, but once they did, everything worked out. They had a big play made in the special teams by Derek Mason with the punt return, and Steve McNair, a great individual effort to find Rodney Thomas with that touchdown pass.
On the 24-yard line, first down and 10 yards to go for McNair, who threw his first touchdown pass against the Ravens since '97, back in that first half. And a carry up past the 25, near the 26, and a gain of 2 for Rodney Thomas. Number 1 time of possession team in the NFL coming into today. Tennessee's only had it for a little over 8.5 minutes. Baltimore almost 22 minutes. Second down 8. And McNair throws a dart to Frank Wycheck, who we just heard from. Spins into the grasp of Jamie Sharper. It's a gain of 4 out near the 31-yard line.
And time of possession is one of those stats that a lot of people don't put a lot of merit to, because look at the situation we have here. They had the ball for almost 22 minutes, but they're trailing 7-6. So it's not how long you have the ball, but what you do with the football when you have it. Right now, Tennessee made the most of their opportunities in the first half.
And going into the no-huddle offense, McNair's completions today, 1 yard, 1 yard, 3, 5, 9 yards, 9 yards, and 4 yards. Third down, long 3, going deep down the middle of the field, looking for Yancey Thigpen. Incomplete. McAllister was right with him. Incomplete pass brings up fourth down and 3 and out for Tennessee to begin the second half.
One of the things that I think has really contributed to the success that Tennessee has had this year is their production on third down. And one of the big keys to that is Steve McNair. He's completing 72% of his passes on third down. And with a 3rd and 3 right there, you just mentioned the depths of the passes, the 1s, the 3s, the 5s, and all of a sudden he tries to unload one down the field there. I think you should have stayed in that game plan and just converted that third down.
Greg Hendrick, who has never had a punt return for a touchdown, knocks this one downfield with a great bounce to Jermaine Lewis, and it rolls inside the 20. It is down to about the 19-yard line. A 50-yard punt by Hendrick. He had a 62-yarder in the first half. The Titans still on top of Baltimore.
Get your hands up! Get your hands up!
And this is a pretty important possession, I would think, now for the Ravens.
This is a huge possession right now. We've talked a lot about the demoralizing factor, about the way that first hand ended. It's going to be very important for the Ravens to come out and have some good positive production on this opening drive.
From the 19-yard line, first and 10. Banks headed, intercepted on the play. And Randall Gottfried, the ex-Dallas Cowboy, Breeze is in for 6. The game's first turnover rocks Baltimore and their coach, Brian Billick.
There's Randall Godfrey on your screen. He does a great job of cutting underneath Ben Coates. Ben Coates has got to lose some ground and give Tony Banks some room to throw. Didn't look like he was moving all that quick right there. Randall Godfrey steps underneath, picks it off, and gets to walk into the end zone. 24-yard return. First place Tennessee with 13:22 to play here in the third quarter now, expanding their lead. The Al Del Greco extra point try on the Hintrick hold, and the Bruce Matthews snap is up and in. Randall Godfrey, who left the Dallas Cowboys and signed by Jeff Fisher, excites his coach and gives his team a good lead over Baltimore.
Mars ground crew, this is Mars 1. Do you hear me? Over. Mars ground crew, this is Mars 1. Do you copy?
Warner Brothers' new motion picture Red Planet, coming soon. And by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
After the Godfrey interception for a touchdown, here's the ensuing kickoff by Tennessee. Corey Harris grabbed and gets away from Lorenzo Neal. Takes it past the 30, where he is hammered by a host of them, including Chamberlain, Chris Coleman, and Terry Killens, all combining for the Titan tackle. 27-yard return, and Friday on the #1 new drama of the season, CSI. Yes. Well, what you just said about Banks in this previous possession, I guess it goes double for this one, right?
Now it has become extremely important for them to be productive.
From the 32, it's 1st and 10 for Tony Banks, down 14-6. There's a block by Vickers and a strike thrown by Banks. Downfield to Shannon Sharp. 19-yard reception by the 7-time Pro Bowler. Tackle made by linebacker Greg Favors. Mark it at the 49-yard line of Tennessee.
Shannon Sharp right here. He's going to be releasing and getting into the middle of the football field. And because of what he stands for as a player, emotionally as well as physically, he's the guy that's got to get this offense up and ready to play and get them fired up and let them know, hey, we're not out of this game yet. Don't drop your heads. Let's keep playing out here.
And he is their leading receiver into Tennessee territory. Baltimore 1st and 10. Quick drop, quick throw across the middle, which is caught 44-yard line of Tennessee by the aforementioned. Picks up 5 right there, and safety Marcus Robertson is all over him. As the Patriots annex their lead over the Indianapolis Colts, that is a mid-third quarter score from the RCA Dome. As we saw, Kansas City was upsetting undefeated St. Louis. Minnesota, the other undefeated team in the NFL, has just taken a 3-point lead on a Chris Carter touchdown. 2nd down 5 from the 44. Hand off to Jamal Lewis. And grabbed from behind, dragging him is Robertson. Held on to the ball. He's near the 37, picking up 7 and picking up a much-needed Baltimore first down.
And Jamal Lewis is a guy I think they need to get back into the offense. A little careless there at the end of the run. That ball came loose. He was very fortunate to get that back. Would have been back-to-back turnovers. You'll see right here at the end of the run, he's got the ball in the inside arm where all the contact can come in. And there you see it go out down to the ground. Randall Godfrey almost getting another turnover for his defense.
It is a first down, 37-yard line of Tennessee. And they bring the house against Banks. He's got people back there to block, and that ball's batted down. Was it picked off? It's loose, and it is Tennessee's ball. It was deflected, and I'm assuming intercepted. Was it Gottfried again? Randall Gottfried, who just had an interception, returned for a touchdown. Intercepts another one. That is the 7th interception by a linebacker for the Oilers/Tennessee Titans since 1993.
That is just
wow.
Great athletic ability right there. You can't teach that to anybody. Randall's basically in a what they call a green zone. He's watching the running back to see if he releases. When he doesn't release, he kind of just hangs there. Tony Banks throws the ball. He jumps up and intercepts it right in the middle of the throwing lane. That's not Tony's fault. That's just a great athletic play by Randall Godfrey.
That is incredible. 43-yard line. Tennessee takes over. First down and 10. The offense is at lunch in the second half, and they had to punt. Check on the move. Eddie George is injured. McNair hit as he throws, incomplete to Sanders across the middle at about the 46. He was belted by Rob Burnett, who is having a sensational season for the Ravens. News out of Kansas City's Arrowhead Stadium. Kurt Warner has gone to the locker room with a broken finger on his passing hand. So now they go to Trent Green, who is the backup quarterback for the undefeated Rams. And he was put in this position as an injured quarterback a year ago, preseason at San Diego, when he left and Warner took his place. Second down, 10, 43-yard line, timeout taken by McNair. The play clock is down to just a handful of seconds, and he may have wanted to audible out of the play that was called. So Tennessee burns their first timeout. Randall Godfrey's interception for a touchdown gives them a sizable lead.
Today.
That's a bad call.
On every frequency, he makes no sense.
They were going to knock you in the mouth.
Sundays on CBS.
Two straight interceptions by Tony Banks. One return for a touchdown. This for a possession for Tennessee. 14-6. Titans on top. The pitch out goes to Rodney Thomas on second down. And he whittles his way up to the 46, picking up 4 with Lionel Dalton on the defensive line, making the stop. Dalton is in right now for Sam Adams.
How many times can this defense bail out the offense of the Baltimore Ravens? They've been doing it all season. It's time for this offense to step up and join in with this football team to get to the point that they want to get. Right now, they can't be expected to win football games every week for them.
Third down and 7, 46-yard line. 4 receivers, including tight end Whitecheck out there. Thomas in the backfield. And McNair the quick throw, and it's caught by Thick Penn off balance. Flags are all over the field, and as he stands right now, he is shy of a first down to the 49-yard line when he needed to get to the 46. The 2 flags, and at least one of them is against Jeff Fisher's Tennessee Titans.
Pass interference, 85. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Setting a pick.
I think he was.
Derek Mason.
For all you basketball fans out there, that's something you can't do in the NFL.
So Baltimore's defense holds after the interception by Banks, and Tennessee can't cash in on that one as they get the first interception, which was returned by Godfrey for a touchdown. So Hendrick to punt again. The offense of Tennessee has had it twice in the second half, punting both times. Second consecutive 3-and-out. Hendrick, who's had a good day punting, wobbles this one inside the 10, kicking at the 6, and ricochets into the end zone for a touchdown. It'll go back out to the 20, 48-yard punt by Craig Hendrick. A lot of news in the NFL. Let's go to our NFL studios in Jim Nance in New York.
All right, Kevin, undefeated Minnesota trailed at halftime to the Bills. They come right out second half. Culpepper, Chris Carter for the lead. You mentioned it. In the other game involving an undefeated team, the Rams will go without Warner. Broken little finger on his throwing hand. Trent Green in at quarterback. Chiefs are beating them by 20. Let's go back to Baltimore.
Wow, Jim, thank you. Only 2 undefeated teams in the NFL, as Jim said. The Rams and the Vikings, and both getting a stiff test today. Now with the touchback on the punt, out to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 yards to go for Tony Banks. His team trailing by 8 with under 10 to play here in the 3rd quarter. And Banks with the drop play handoff to Lewis. Got a block from Mulatalo, and he picks up 3 yards as Robinson douses him. And Eddie Robinson with the grab. And let's head downstairs to Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I'm with Hall of Famer Johnny Unitas. Johnny, the guys are yelling upstairs for you to get dressed right now.
Maybe about 30 years ago, but all right.
Well, give me your thoughts on just the quarterback position with this team right now with Tony Banks and what you think he needs to do.
Well, Tony's having not a real good year, and he's, not throwing the ball as well as he's capable of doing it. So hopefully he'll improve as we go along. I'm sure the people here are kind of hollering for a scalp because we really haven't been too successful so far.
What about the quarterback position in general? They're going to these guys that run more, like the McNairs and the McNabbs and that type of thing. Your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, that's just the type of the game that McNabb is primarily a runner. He's a good athlete, and that changes the game a little bit when they're able to move around in the pocket. Most guys that you find who are going to be successful are the guys who are going to stay in the pocket and get the protection and work both sides of the field.
As we just watch the game unfold right now, just give me your overall impressions of the changes in the game, the ones you like and don't like. Well, I know that's a big question.
Well, the changes in the game, basically, you know, the men are bigger, faster, quicker, but not necessarily any better than the people who played before. They got a lot of desire and heart. The rule changes with pass protection been made a lot simpler to do. You can't touch the quarterback most of the time. You can't touch the receivers after 5 yards downfield. It should make it very easy to get open, very easy to play.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us.
First down reception made by Ismail up at the 43. It's a gain of 15. Danon Sidney was beaten on the side. Before that, there was a defensive hold against Tennessee, which gave Baltimore a first down, and that wiped out what appeared to be a sack by John Thornton on their defensive line. Nonetheless, route to the 43-yard line, Baltimore first down.
Here's that last play. You can see Qadry Ismail getting Danon Sidney to open his hips up and turn, and then he breaks back. It's a nice job by Qadry finishing that route at the top.
First down and 10 from the 43-yard line. And Banks throwing outside, incomplete. Couple defensive backs out there surrounding young rookie wide receiver Travis Taylor, including Denard Walker. Let's go back to Jim Nantz in New York in our NFL Today studios.
Well, Kevin, the Colts are having a real struggle at home. Down 9 to the Patriots. Manning for the second time today. Hooks up with Marvin Harrison. This one goes for 78 yards to move within 2, but the Patriots are knocking at the goal line with 2:44 to go third quarter. Let's go back to Kevin and Darrell.
Jim, New England has beaten Indianapolis 8 of the last 9 times they've played. Second down and 10, and the shifty Jamal Lewis takes it out to the 50-yard line and picks up 7 yards on the play as he rumbles up the middle, tackled by Henry Ford. He now has 14 carries and 42 yards today after that gain of 7, and he's right near midfield.
And I think they should continue to run Jamal Lewis and Priest Holmes, because those are the places where the breakdowns have occurred with the Titans defense. Corey Dillon went for 80 yards a couple weeks ago. Fred Taylor went for a big run on Monday Night Football. That is the area that these guys are giving up their big plays. Not in the passing game, but actually in the running game.
3rd and 3 from midfield for Banks. Blitz is called off. Here's a pass incomplete. Actually, they did sneak a linebacker in there, Godfrey. 2 safeties backed up. That pass incomplete to Shannon Sharp, but Godfrey kind of weaseled his way in and got in the face of Banks. 4th and 3, Baltimore's got a punt.
And what you had there, Priest Holmes has 2 guys coming free on the outside. You always block the inside guy as the back. You never take the outside guy. He took Blaine Bishop, and Randall Godfrey continued to come. He was the inside man. He's the guy that's going to be able to get to Tony Banks first.
Catch 22.
Exactly. One of them's going to get free.
Right.
So take the inside guy and make the guy go the longest distance.
Derek Mason awaits the kick from Kyle Richardson. And fair caught at about the 17-yard line. 33-yard punt by Richardson. Well, with Eddie George out, pulling a lot of strings is Jeff Fisher on that Tennessee sideline.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Goodyear, Sirius Technology, freedom from worry. And by the Insider Pizza new from Pizza Hut, another one of the best pizzas under one roof.
Tennessee will get it. They lead it 14-6. A touchdown pass by McNair. An interception return for a touchdown by Godfrey on the 17-yard line. This is the 8th possession for Tennessee today. The pitch out goes to Thomas. Neal with the block and wrapped up by Sam Adams. And about the line of scrimmage. In fact, maybe even lost about a yard. He did. Adams came here as part of the cleansing process that Mike Holmgren is instituting up at Seattle. Veterans like Adams cut free, but he signed here in Baltimore.
And he's been playing a great game today. We talked about the penetration he's getting, but the big thing with this defensive football team of the Ravens is so hard to run side to side on them. I really think you have to attack them between the tackles, get Lorenzo Neal in the backfield. If you want to run the ball, continue to run the ball, run straight at him.
Second down 11. Very few first downs today for Tennessee, as you can see, shy of the 17. Thomas running outside, grabbed by Burnett and brought down. Rob Burnett, an outstanding player, the AFC Defensive Player for the month of September. Let's go back to our Fifth Avenue studios, and here's Jim Nantz.
It's third quarter. Let's go back to you.
Thank you, Jim. They got the worst offense in the NFL. Dead last, the 31st ranked offense of Cincinnati today. Third down and 12. Back at the 15. McNair with the quarterback draw, has to get up to the 27. He's chased by Woodson and grabbed at the 25-yard line and denied the first down. The veteran Rob Woodson, along with Ray Lewis, combining on the stop. The 8-time Pro Bowler. Someday he will be in Canton.
And these guys all have to maintain their rush lanes. That's what they're hoping to do. They're going to have Steve McNair drop back. You see the little crease right there. That's the quarterback draw. This play will be on when he comes to the line of scrimmage. We talked about his ability to audible and check into the proper play. That play will come up about 10 times during the course of the game, whether Steve wants to run that or not.
3 consecutive 3-and-outs for the Tennessee Titans, the #1 team in the AFC Central. First place is on the line today. Hendricks' punt is high and retrieved 34-yard line by Jermaine Lewis. He gets a block and weaves his way up to about the 42-yard line. A 42-yard punt by Hendrick, a 9-yard return, and a lot of congestion by Lewis. And a flag has been thrown on the far side. In fact, the flag is almost resting on the chalk across the way at the 36. And with that, officials head off. I'm guessing someone's out of bounds. Unless you saw more than one violation.
During the run back, illegal block from behind. 86 of the return team. 10 yards. First down.
That's your former teammate, Billy Davis, the ex-Cowboy. What's going on here?
No comment.
Timeout.
In 5 billion years, Earth has never seen anything like it.
Scored a touchdown in 45 possessions. Taking over at the 26. First and 10. Gash moved early. This time they caught him. He did it once in the first half, and he kind of escaped the wrath of the yellow flag from our referee, Jerry Austin, one of the best in the NFL.
Ball start, 32 offense, 5 yards, it's still first down.
There were 6 penalties on Baltimore today, 4 of which have been tagged on Brian Billick's offense.
And that's the thing that you can't have when you're struggling as a unit, and they've got to be able to eliminate the mistakes. And this is a tough situation for them to be in right now, regardless of what goes on, without putting them in 1st and 15 situations.
1st and 15 inside the 21. A lot of people on that defensive line. They all come charging at Banks. He's hit as he throws a pass. Caught! And a beauty it is by Shannon Sharp. Up to the 43-yard line as he beat linebacker Eddie Robinson. It's a gain of 23.
Shannon Sharp right here, number 82. He's going to come all the way across. And we've talked about Eddie Robinson being lined up on Shannon Sharp. He needs to get closer, and he needs to stop giving him that clean release off the line of scrimmage. Shannon Sharp is the one offensive weapon right now that Tony Banks has. If they can shut him down, they can shut the offense down completely.
Sharp, the number 2 all-time receiver among tight ends, behind Ozzie Newsome, who works in the Baltimore front office. 44-yard line, 1st and 10. Banks again with time to the side, and almost picked off by Danon Sidney on a pass intended for Ismail. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10. He's already thrown 2 picks today.
And you can hear the crowd starting to boo a little bit. One of the things that Brian Billick talked about, he's not going to look at crowd noise and read the newspaper articles to see if Tony Banks is in trouble. He has a serious in-season evaluation process that he goes through to see how the production at the quarterback position is doing. Right there, obviously, the ball thrown a little bit behind. Probably should have been intercepted. But right now, Tony Banks has got to do something to get this team moving.
More scores. Buffalo leads Minnesota. 2nd down and 10. Handoff to Lewis. He gets a block from Gash, and he takes it by the 50-yard line and gashes the Tennessee 49. It's a gain of 7. And they've got to get down to the 46. Priest Holmes will come and take the place of Lewis.
And to me, this is what the Baltimore Ravens need to do. Line up with Sam Gash and Jamal Lewis. You can see the stunting going on in the defensive line of the Tennessee Titans. They're going to take themselves out of position. Right now, all they want to do is get pressure on the quarterback because they're throwing so much. But with 3:20 to go in the third quarter, you're only down by 1 touchdown in a 2-point conversion. You've got plenty of time. Stay with your offensive game plan, run the football, and use everything you've got.
3rd down 3, just inside Titan territory. Banks throws, and that is caught for a 1st down, and it goes to Jermaine Lewis with a rare catch today. A gain of 5 on 3rd and 3. His 2nd reception and a 1st down for Baltimore.
And you can see the spark that Shannon Sharp's catch has given this team. Jermaine Lewis getting involved in it. Jamal Lewis running well. I mean, that's what you need. You need one of the older guys to step up and make a big play to get the rest of the guys going.
Final couple minutes of the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10. Baltimore at the Tennessee 44. Banks, handoff. Jamal Lewis pounding his way up the middle until he was stopped by Kenny Holmes. And Jason Fisk gets a gain of 6. Setting up 2nd down and 4. He's all the way to the 37. Let's go to Jim Nantz in New York.
Strange day today, Kevin. So far, undefeated St. Louis, undefeated Minnesota, both trailing. And the Vikings are down because rookie Sammy Morris scores from a yard out. They're at the end of the 3rd quarter. Bills lead. Also crazy today, winless Cincinnati over Denver so far. Back to you.
Wow. 2nd down 4, 38-yard line. Thank you, Jim. Here comes Banks. Hit once, gets away, throws it, and bobbled and reeled in by Jamal Lewis. He's chased by Favors, tackled from behind at the 10 by Robertson. A gain of 27 yards, and that's the big play that the Ravens have been looking for. They're to the 11, 1st and 10.
And here we go. Here comes everybody again on your blitz. But watch at the very end. Eddie Robinson is going to miss him. He's got him right in his sights. Tony Banks is able to step up, find Jamal Lewis. What a great job of catching the football, get him in the open field. And as Kevin said, that is the one big play that they've been lacking all day offensively.
On the 11 of Tennessee, 1st down and 10. Banks to the end zone and looking for Travis Taylor. There was contact, no yellow on the field. Incomplete pass, 2nd down and 10. Should there have been a flag?
I didn't really get a good look at it, but I'm just not a big fan of the fade route on the outside down here in the red zone. I think it's something that every team works a lot at, but you've got to work so much at the timing of this and getting a good feel between quarterback and receiver. I think the best at it is Chris Carter, but they run a little stop fade. But to me, with a guy like Jamal Lewis and Sam Gash in the backfield, just line up, take a couple shots here, maybe throw some play action, but the fade, to me, I'm not a big fan of it in this situation.
8th play of the drive, 2nd down 10 at the Tennessee 11. They're showing blitz, and here they come. Banks to the end zone, intercepted, picked off by Danon Sidney. Shades of a week ago at FedEx Field when he threw an interception into the end zone with the ball resting at the Redskin 1. And Tony Banks has just thrown his 3rd interception today. Earlier in the game, at the 3 and a goal to go situation, he fumbled, which resulted in a field goal.
So 2 just very bad plays in the red zone for Tony Banks and the Baltimore Ravens offense. You can see right here they have a max blitz, but they've got everything picked up. They've got their 2 receivers out there. He throws it high, and he throws it a little bit early. I don't know if Travis Taylor didn't get his head around, but obviously a miscommunication there because he wasn't ready for the ball when it was thrown by Tony.
So a touchback to the 20, handoff to Rodney Thomas, tackled by Ray Lewis at about the 22. And with Eddie George out, Thomas has been taking the brunt of the offensive carries today. Coming into the game, he had only had 11 totes. He's got 11 carries today for 31 yards. And a disheartened look on the face of Tony Banks. 3 interceptions. And Trent Dilfer is getting up on the sideline and beginning to warm up. That may do it. That may have been the thing that Brian Billick needed to see. That 3rd interception. Second down and 7 at the 23. McNair with time and the toss. And diving for the catch, Derek Mason right in front of Dwayne Starks. Gain of 14 yards at the 37. And that will be the final play of the third quarter. Tennessee gets their first down since the final minute of the first half. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. First place Tennessee 14, second place Baltimore 6. And we'll return to PSI Net Stadium after this message and a word from your local CBS station. Former Tampa Bay Buccaneer and a Pro Bowler in '97, Trent Dilfer is warming up. Tony Banks has thrown 3 interceptions today, the last one in the end zone while he was in the red zone. We begin the fourth quarter. First and 10, 37-yard line. Tennessee without Eddie George. The blitz is on. Ducks off a screen pass. Caught a fumble and recovered by Rob Woodson. He's inside the 40 to the Tennessee 39. It's the Titans' first turnover today. And we expect to see a new quarterback for Baltimore as the defense does it again.
And this is just an incredible individual effort by number 20, Kim Herring. He's going to come on a blitz from out here on this side. He's going to turn and retrace the screen and create the fumble. And this is what this defense has done the entire day. They don't get frustrated when their offense struggles. They just come out and play football. That is an incredible individual effort by that guy right there. He gives their offense a chance. I just can't believe the way they go out and play football. Any other group would get frustrated the way the offense is playing. They take it as a challenge to go out and get that ball back.
So here's 28-year-old Trent Dilfer from the 39. Throws a pass far side, caught by the rookie Travis Taylor. And the cheers and the hoopla cascading down from the upper deck. Dilfer was signed as an unrestricted free agent from Tampa Bay after playing 6 seasons for the Buccaneers. Really, the guy that Brian Billick wanted was Randall Cunningham, but Minnesota held on to him to June 1st. He had committed to Dilfer, and he stuck with Dilfer even though Cunningham was available.
And a very similar situation for Trent Dilfer that he had in Tampa Bay. Command the offense on a team that has a tremendous defense. Just don't get the team beat.
32-yard line, 2nd and 3, fumble on a missed handoff. Dilfer picks it up and covers the ball at the 35. And he was going to Priest Holmes. I guess you might expect some of this. Now, Dilfer did take more snaps in practice, Brian Billick told us this week, but he probably would have anyway.
Yeah, he says that's a normal transition as the season goes on. He doesn't want the starter to take all the reps. He wants his arm to be rested for the end of the year. But you can see right here, Trent Dilfer has a tough time getting out. He stumbles over some feet. You will have some questions in the quarterback center exchange. You could have some questions with the quarterback running back exchange. So this is not an easy transition for this offense at this stage right now.
But they recover the fumble. They're at the 36, make it the 35 with a 3rd down and 6 to go. Dilfer with time throws a pass and dropped on the far side. The coverage by Robertson, and the pass intended across the way for Ismail, and he is still down.
Kadre Ishmael, number 87 there on the inside, going up and just breaking to the outside. He gets between the 2 levels. The ball's delivered. He just makes a clean drop. He should have made the catch.
Pass was there. Dilfer will take him the rest of the way, and we've got 13:49 to play in the fourth quarter. Ismail is still down at about the 17. Yeah, that was a pass which was very catchable.
And that goes back to some of the things that Brian Billick was talking about, the supporting cast around Tony Banks. They weren't getting the job done on the outside. They weren't really opening up lanes underneath. So this is a situation right here where Trent Dilfer comes in. He has an opportunity to convert a 3rd and 6. He delivers the ball to the receiver, and he doesn't make the catch. So, you know, it goes back to that intense evaluation process. Brian Billick's not going to listen to the boos of the crowds or the talk radio around town or read the newspaper. He's got his own way of finding out how productive that quarterback has been. And if the guys on the outside continue to not make plays, then the quarterbacks aren't going to be successful.
Ismail slowly walks across the field. Now, here's an interesting coaching decision by Billick. He's at the 35 of Tennessee. And if they tried a field goal, it would be, give or take a yard, a 53-yard try. Last week, Stover kicked one from 51. His career high is 55. But they've elected, it appears as though, on 4th and 6 to punt the ball.
But you have to remember, you will get the ball at the spot of the kick, not at the line of scrimmage. So they would actually get the ball at probably the 42-yard line. And right now, to me, the correct choice is to punt the ball, pin Tennessee back. Their defense is playing outstanding. Don't give them a short field. Make them earn everything coming off their end zone.
Baltimore can't cash in on the Rodney Thomas Tennessee fumble. Here's Richardson. Flag is down. And delay a game, which I think they'll decline. At least I would.
Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Why give a benefit another 5 yards to Richardson, right?
Give him a little bit more room to work with. But the other guy says, hey, I'm going to give it to him anyway.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you don't even have to call. Just look out and go, hey, we're going to punt. We're going to call. We're going to hold it and do a delay game. Well, we're not going to accept it anyway, so just kick the ball from here.
Here's Richardson with little rush put on. Gets it sky high. Mason is back, landing at the 3. Saved by Trapp and down at the 1. A 34-yard punt. James Trapp, the ex-Raider, saves it for Kyle Richardson. And they've got the Titans pinned and stranded at the 1-yard line.
What do I want the internet?
Godfrey picked off. Banks returned it for a touchdown. Rodney Thomas taking the place of the injured Eddie George. 9-yard touchdown reception. And here from the 1-yard line, McNair on 1st and 10 with the quarterback keeper just to get some breathing space. Kyle Richardson on a punt saved by James Trapp down at the 1-yard line. And coming up next on CBS, before there was a Tiger, there was the Golden Bear. Next, journey back with Jack as we take a heartwarming and nostalgic look back at his storied career. And Nicholas, the final march through the majors. Next on CBS. 2nd and 9. Tennessee came in the #1 possession team in the NFL in terms of time. They've held it for less than 15 minutes today. 2nd and 9 from the 2. It is loud with a second on the play clock. McNair, who had trouble getting the play out in his huddle, in the shadow of his own goalpost, has to call a timeout. And that means Jeff Fisher has one up his sleeve for the rest of the game.
Welcome to the Samsung Digital Experience, where everyone's invited. And by Acura, introducing MDX, taking the SUV to a place it's never been before.
It's loud. 2nd and 9. You got the band playing their instruments as they're trying to huddle in the end zone.
Not the end zone you want to be coming off of right now.
No sacks allowed by the offense today. No offensive penalties against Tennessee. McNair, pocket crumbles, throws it to the side, almost picked off. Corey Harris was guarding tight end Aaron Kinney across the way. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 9.
And what you have to consider right now is getting the ball out a little bit further, because right now at the 2-yard line, 3-yard line, they don't have the
15 yards, 1st down.
Oh goodness, I didn't.
A 15-yard penalty against Baltimore. Roughing the passer.
Wow, and that is just a big mistake. Rob Burnett.
Yep.
But, you know.
Right there.
You know what? If he went to the head and he hit the quarterback in the head, I'll give it to you. But to me, you know, there wasn't a whole lot there.
Now some breathing space. 17-yard line for McNair and a 1st down. Rodney Thomas, he's fumbled once today, digs his way through the pile, then is brought down by McAllister and Woodson. Out about the 24-yard line and a hard-earned 7-yard gain by the 6th-year running back out of Texas A&M. And a high school football legend in Texas, the all-time leading high school rusher in Houston high school history. Log on to NFL.com and read about the NFL's all-time sack masters. It's only on NFL.com. 2nd down, 3 shy of the 25. Kinney, the rookie tight end, on the move. Thomas again. Kenny with the block, bouncing outside, chased by Sharper, brought down by Woodson. First down gain, 39-yard line, picking up 14 yards.
And you see how big that roughing the passer penalty becomes down on the goal line. Now they've gotten out to here. This is just a great job by Rodney Thomas, and a different style than Eddie George. This group is going to be geared in to stop a big physical runner. Now all of a sudden you've got a shifty guy. Look at how far he can bounce outside. He gets away from the pursuit of the defense inside, and he's running pretty tough himself right now.
Markham at the 37 in the day for Rodney Thomas. Came in with 11 carries all season, has 13 alone this afternoon against the #1 run defense in the NFL of Baltimore. 37, 1st and 10. Pitch out to Thomas. Cornell Brown forced him inside, and that's where he is met by Ray Lewis after a gain of 3. And he moves the ball near the 40-yard line. Busy day in the NFL. Look at this upset in the making as New England, which earlier this season beat the Colts at Foxborough, leading again late in the game. And Buffalo on top of undefeated Minnesota. Doug Flutie starting today, and as a starter, he is 17-8, taking the place of Rob Johnson for the second time in 3 years. That's an upset in the making. Winless Cincinnati on top of Denver, 17-14, early 4th quarter. And Kansas City on top of St. Louis. St. Louis unbeaten. Warner out with a broken finger on his hand. 2nd down and 7. McNair down the middle looking for Kenny. Led him too much. Incomplete. Lewis on the coverage at the Raven 45-yard line.
And when we talked to Jeff Fisher yesterday, this was the guy that he said was going to have a big part in today's game. Up until this point, they have not been able to get the football to him. They tried right there. He was also the intended receiver coming off the goal line when they had the roughing the passer penalty. But Aaron Kinney, Jeff Fisher loved him. He's a big guy, a big physical guy with soft hands. 270 pounds getting down the middle of the field.
Here he is now, McNair, 5 of 7 on 3rd downs. He has the best NFL completion percentage on 3rd down league-wide. 3rd and 7 from the 40. The fake handoff as he's being chased. He gets around Boulware, sidesteps him, throws, and it's caught by Wycheck for a 1st down. Incredible catch at the 46-yard line. And a flag is down at the 40. And the Ravens signaling it is against Tennessee, and confirmed by our referee, Jerry Austin.
Ineligible downfield, 74 offense, 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
74 is Bruce Matthews. That's the first offensive penalty on Tennessee, but watch the catch by Wycheck.
I tell you what, you can make a highlight reel of this guy's catches. That is absolutely incredible. One-handed, snags it a foot from the ground and pulls it in. He just makes some of the most unbelievable catches. He's got great hands for a big man.
Leading receiver the last 4 years on this Titan team. Tied for the NFL lead of any tight end in receptions coming into today with Kansas City's Tony Gonzalez. I don't know where Baltimore's defensive players find it in their tank. They continually come back after the offense of Brian Billick continues to falter. 3rd down and 12 from the 35. Tennessee 1 of 8 on 3rd down today. McNair, great time. The throw deflected, intercepted by Herring. Off the deflection by Corey Harris. Grabbed by Matthews, brought down at the 34. And the 2nd turnover today by Tennessee, an 18-yard return, and the 3rd interception of the season by Kim Herring. And that was a beauty after the deflection by Corey Harris, his running mate in the defensive backfield.
And watch Corey Harris there. He's the guy that steps up to fake the blitz, and watch him get back into the throwing lane and make the tip. That's a great play. We've seen some unbelievable individual efforts from this Baltimore defense, and as you pointed out, where do they find it in their tanks to keep playing this hard?
They've been something else. Kent Dilfer, as you take a look at Steve McNair, his 1st interception today. And for McNair, his 5th of the season. 1st and 10 Ravens at the Titan 34. Handoff to Jamal Lewis, who was dragging Godfrey from behind, and he picks up 3 yards, 231 pounds of running back to the 31-yard line. So Banks throwing the 3 interceptions, and they're conferring that it may have been a loose ball. Jerry Austin will tell us.
Down by contact, 2nd down.
I thought I heard a whistle.
get a chance to look at it right here. Jamal Lewis has definitely got the ball way outside. He's down right there. Yeah. So his left knee was down. That ball was down by contact. Jeff Fisher with only one timeout. I don't even think he has the opportunity to go back and call for a replay because now he's got to play the rest of the game with no timeouts.
Great point. 2nd down and 7. The Herring interception sets up this Baltimore possession. Ravens have started an NFL high 23 possessions in opponent territory this season. 2nd and 7 from the 31. Good time for Dilfer. Dumps it off in the flat, caught by Priest Holmes, and he is grabbed nicely by Perry Phoenix after a gain of 5. And they move it to the 26 with the clock ticking and approaching 9 minutes to play in the 4th quarter.
And here comes a big critical 3rd down situation for the Baltimore Ravens offense at the 26-yard line. They do not want to settle for another field goal in this situation. They can't keep putting their defense on the field to win the game. This is going to be a crucial play for this offense.
3rd and 2 from the 26. They have to get inside the 25. And Dilfer with time, and that may have been picked off, and it was. Michael Booker is there. They have not ruled as of yet, and you see the meeting on the field. He jumped in front of Jermaine Lewis, and it is an interception and a Baltimore turnover, and the 4th interception thrown by Raven quarterbacks today.
You know, I just don't understand how you can throw a football on a 3rd and 2 when you've got a running back like Jamal Lewis and a fullback like Sam Gadd. Line up and knock him off the ball and convert.
4 turnovers today by Baltimore. Booker, first as a Titan, and he watches a subsequent handoff to Rodney Thomas up the middle, and not a whole lot of room there. And now it'll be 2nd down. That's Tony Banks' number, but they've taken the name off the back. You know things are going bad when the fans begin ripping your name off the back of the jersey.
That is cruel when somebody will spend that kind of money for an NFL jersey and then trash it.
2nd down and 9. Tennessee in first place in the AFC Central and trying to hold on to that position. From the 25. Hand off to Thomas and tripped up nicely in the backfield by Lionel Dalton. Number 91. A loss of 1. We saw the Kim Herring interception moments ago. They took over in Tennessee territory and couldn't do anything with it. Threw another pick. The last 48 possessions for Baltimore. 24 punts. The 13 field goals by Stover. 5 interceptions and no touchdowns.
Mike Ditka made a great point in the NFL today when he talked about Brian Billick being an offensive guru, but he does not have the cast surrounding the quarterback that he had in Minnesota. So it's difficult for Tony Banks or Trent Dilfer to try and do the things that they did in Minnesota.
Back at the 24, 3rd down and 10. Good block by Miller, going deep and looking for Sanders, and what a catch at the 30-yard line. Chris Sanders skying and jousting with Starks and beats him. A 46-yard gain to the Baltimore 30-yard line.
And I'm going to agree with Dwayne Starks on this. Watch at the end of the play the little arm that Chris Sanders gives to keep the arms down and give himself an opportunity to catch this ball right here. Maybe not. I don't know.
That is the longest play allowed by Baltimore this season. And the happy coach, Jeff Fisher, the defensive back himself with the Chicago Bears in the early 80s, cheering on his offense with the big strike from the 30 of Baltimore. Now Tennessee 1st and 10. Rodney Thomas running into Woodson and brought down there. We had the loss in the play, perhaps 2 it is, bringing up 2nd down and 12. And again, Eddie George out for the game. He had 1 carry for 4 yards early on the first series, and he sprained his MCL, sprained his knee, and he has not seen the field since then. Coming up in the Subway postgame show, join Mike, Jim, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights, latest NFL news, and it might be a day of upsets in the NFL. Coming up on the Subway postgame show right here on CBS. 2nd down and 12. Inside the 32 of Baltimore. Thomas Tried to work around a Bruce Matthews block, but Ray Lewis was right there to gobble him up and spit him out. The Baltimore leading tackler, no gain on the play.
And that's what those big guys do up front in that defensive line. They occupy all the linemen, so Ray Lewis and Jamie Sharper and Peter Boulware can run free, fill those lanes, and make the tackles.
Baltimore has 3 timeouts and Tennessee has 1. Sanders has had a couple big catches now today on 3rd down. It's 3rd and 12 from the Baltimore 32. McNair looking for Sanders, makes the grab and then drop it. Had it, juggled it, couldn't reel it in. The coverage by McAllister and Kim Herring. And he didn't get that one. Now Al Del Greco trots out onto the field with the 4th and 12 awaiting the offense. Now they yank Del Greco off and they bring Hendrick onto the field. So Del Greco was out there looking as if he was going to try it.
And this would only be a 49-yard field goal, and you know, probably in Al Del Greco's range. But again, I think you go back to the point, the ball is going to be spotted at the place of the kick. It gives Baltimore a short field this way, but this is a difficult punt to execute because you've only got 32 yards of field to work with.
What about a fake?
I'd rather line up and kick the field goal than run a fake. At 4th and 12, it's going to be very difficult to convert. I think you're better off taking the shot at the field goal in that situation. Well, but remember, he did tell us that he expected some special.
4th down.
Delay a game, they let the clock run down purposely.
And again, we won't get that one marched off. Yeah. But Jeff Fisher warned us that he expected some tricks, you know, maybe from his side, maybe from the other side in the special teams game. We haven't seen anything up until this point.
He's done it before as Hendrick awaits the snap from Kevin Long. Little pooch. Lewis is back, landing at the 6, and it was not saved. With all kinds of people down there getting a 32-yard punt. George McCullough just about had. Back out to the 20 with the touchdown.
Be all you can be. And by IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level.
Back here in Baltimore, 4 second-half turnovers by the Ravens. Tennessee, without Eddie George, has gotten a touchdown pass by their running back, Rodney Thomas. A pass thrown by McNair and a catch and run by Thomas. And then Randall Godfrey picked off Banks and returned to 24 yards for a touchdown. First of his career as they take a look at George McCullough. Must have cramps there in the end zone. And tonight on 60 Minutes, while other kids play baseball, football, or basketball, this kid plays the stock market. So far, he's already ahead by a cool $500,000. Meet him tonight on 60 Minutes on CBS.
Where do you think he got the original investment in?
That's the key.
That's what we need to find out.
Without money, right? Is that it? Well, the Patriots have now relinquished the lead near the 2-minute warning. Indianapolis is on top. And remember, New England beat Indianapolis 24-16 earlier this season. Buffalo is leading at Minneapolis. Cincinnati is leading with 6.5 to play at home. They have not won at home in their brand new Paul Brown Stadium. And they're just beginning the 4th with Kansas City on top of undefeated St. Louis. Kurt Warner out with a broken finger on his passing hand. Trent Dilfer from the 20. 1st and 10 on the touchback. He loses his way, holds on to the ball, and then brought down by Jason Fisk. That is the 4th sack registered today by Tennessee.
I think the only thing that this is going to prove is that it's not all Tony Banks' fault, the way that this offense has been performing, because if you don't have time to throw the ball and you don't have guys making plays on the outside, I don't care who you put back there. And right now, Trent Dilfer is going to find himself in the exact same situation that Tony was in.
Loss of 4, 2nd down, 14, back inside the 17-yard line. Dilfer with the block by Ogden, buys him some time, and he hits his receiver up near the 25-yard line. It's Shannon Sharp, the tight end. It's a gain of 11 on the play, shy of a 1st down. They'll mark him down actually near the 27-yard line. So 3rd and 3. Holmes will come in along with Jermaine Lewis. Gash will leave along with Jamal Lewis. Baltimore with all 3 of their timeouts and not a sense of urgency at all to their pace. They're down in 3 from the 27. High snap by Flynn, pulled down by Dilfer. The throw caught for a first down by Lewis, but get out of bounds and stop the clock, and there's a flag as Damon Sidney makes the tackle. He's up near the 36-yard line. Face mask?
Probably.
9-yard gain. His 3rd catch today. He's had 2 on 3rd down today for Baltimore.
Face mask, 37 defense, 5 yards, first down, the result of the play.
Sidney already with an interception today, called for the penalty.
Jermaine Lewis, number 84 at the top of your screen. He's going to do just a little route. We call it China route. He'll come into the inside and then snap it back to the outside. I like the effort right here. Damon Sidney almost conceded the fact that he was going out of bounds. He almost broke that tackle for a big play. And there's the face mask at the end right there.
41-yard line, 1st and 10 for Baltimore, trailing 14-6, 3:10 to play in the game. Good time for Dilfer. Going to the side, and it's caught by Sharp at the 46-yard line of Tennessee. Tackled by safety Blaine Bishop. It's a gain of 14 on first down.
And he has been the one constant in the Baltimore offense during the course of the game today. And I think that they need to look for him more. If Tennessee can take him away, I don't think there's anybody else to step up and make the plays that Shannon has made during the course of this football game.
7 catches for Sharp today, 100 receiving yards. 46-yard line, 1st and 10. Baltimore still within striking reach, just 8 points down. Dilfer throws it back, batted down at the line of scrimmage. All kinds of big bodies in there. Keith Embry was in there, Jason Fisk, and Robert Smith, who is a rookie from Michigan State. First place at stake in the AFC Central coming into today. A half-game lead for the Titans over the Baltimore Ravens. And Baltimore, the only team over the last 2 years that has defeated Tennessee from the Central Division. Second down, 10, 46-yard line of Tennessee. Audibilizing. Here comes the rush by Smith. Scrambling is Dilfer. Has to get to the 36. Breaks the tackle on the play at Godfrey. And finds a first down to the 34-yard line of Tennessee. It's a scrambling gain of 12. He stops the clock at 2:18. Baltimore with 3 timeouts and deep in Tennessee territory.
And Trent Dilfer showing a little bit of emotion at the end of this play, which is something that has been lacking from the quarterback position. You'll see he gets to the outside. He had an opportunity to dump the ball, but he stays in, turns the ball upfield. And you see at the tail end, he'll get up. He's all pumped up as he gets back onto the football field. And that's one of the things that goes along with the quarterback position, that emotion to be able to lead a football team.
34-yard line after the 12-yard scramble by Dilfer. First down and 10. Here comes the rush by Smith. They dump it off to Jamal Lewis. Breaks a tackle of Godfrey and spins his way, corkscrewing to the 26. It's a gain of 8 when he probably should have been held to a gain of a yard or 2.
He'd have been lucky to get anything positive out of that. They had it defended well. He's just a bowling ball when he gets going. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, you can't bring him down by yourself.
Well, we've reached the 2-minute warning, but Dilfer clearly was signaling for a timeout with about 2:03, 2:02 left on the clock. So let's see if they put more time on the clock than they do. 5 seconds.
Timeout Baltimore. That's their first. It will be a 30-second timeout.
That is a very good use of their timeouts. They've got 3. They know they're going to get a break at the 2-minute warning, and they get one just before the break right now.
Basically like picking up an extra timeout at this stage of the game.
So Dilfer making things happen in what has been a dismal offensive day for Baltimore. And coming up in the Subway postgame show, Jim, Mike, and Jerry have all the scores, all the highlights. It's been a day of upsets, or at least upsets in the making around the NFL. Latest news all on tap next in the Subway postgame show from 5th Avenue. So Tennessee's got a timeout left, and Baltimore has 2. Dilfer, as you take a look at the injured Eddie George, who came into today as the number 1 AFC running back and number 3 in the NFL in terms of rushing yards. But 1 carry, 4 yards, that's been it. Dilfer 6 of 9 today. Second down, long one, shy of the 25. Good block by Lewis outside for Shannon Sharp. Hits the first down, out of bounds at the 21. It's a gain of 4. 2:01 to play in the game. So he steps out of play, stops the clock, and the 2-minute warning still waits, and 2 timeouts remaining.
He's going to get another free play.
Yeah. This has been great clock management.
What's the one thing they have done well?
I'm not sure. First and 10, shy of the Tennessee 20. We'll mark it at the 21. Is it changing the play?
Yes.
Play clock at a second. Got it off in time. Dilfer winds up, goes across the middle, and batted down beautifully by Perry Phoenix on a pass intended for tight end Shannon Sharp. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. With 1:57 to play, Tennessee trying to hold on. 14-6. 2 young head coaches in the NFL, 21-yard line of Tennessee. Oh my goodness. Flags all over the field. False start, perhaps?
Yeah, a bunch of guys on the offensive side of the ball. You can take your pick. Unless, somebody moved in the defensive line, but I didn't really see anybody.
False start, 64. Offense, 5 yards. It's still second down.
Mulatalo, their starting left guard.
He was just the unfortunate one that had his number called, but there was about 4 or 5 other guys you could have chosen from.
Elvis Gerback is out of that game at Kansas City. He has an injured elbow. Warner is already out with a broken finger, and other scores. Baltimore took over at their 20 with 4.5 left to play. 10th play of the drive upcoming. Second down, 15. Dilfer. Good block by Swain in the end zone. Incomplete. Coach was in the vicinity. Harry Swain did an admirable job holding off the oncoming rush of Tennessee. That brings up 3rd and 15.
Harry Swain's done a great job all day on Javon Curse. He's been left out there in a one-on-one situation most of the time because Tennessee will get into that 46 front that Buddy Ryan made so popular in Chicago, and that really isolates your outside guys. So not only on that last play, but really all day today, he's been singled up and done a great job.
On the 26, 3rd and 15. Dilfer. He's hit. He fumbles. It's recovered by the left guard, Mulatalo, and he takes it down to the 27.
We have a fumble inside of 2 minutes. The ball comes back to the spot where it's fumbled. Fourth down.
Which is the 34-yard line.
And with a situation like this, the defensive linemen know that all they have to do is get upfield. And Trent Dilfer's got a bunch of them around him. Javon Curse finally gets there coming from the other side against Jonathan Ogden, but Mulatalo does a great job because he gives them another chance on 4th down.
Dilfer's going to burn his second timeout.
It will be a 30-second timeout.
Now, Dilfer was expected to lead Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl a season ago. Instead, he was replaced by a rookie late in the year. So his background, like Banks, is a bit checkered.
And to me, he's really in the exact same scenario that he was in while he played in Tampa Bay. He's going to be asked to do the exact same thing. And to me, it's an interesting situation because if he couldn't do it in Tampa Bay, I don't know if he'll be able to do it in Baltimore. To me, you really have to start looking at Chris Redmond, the rookie that they picked up this year in the draft from Louisville. If you want to make a change, maybe you start gearing him up to maybe take the quarterback position at some point during this season.
4th and 22, and Baltimore must get to the Tennessee 11-yard line. They've got a ways to go. 5 defensive backs. From the 33. Good block by Ogden. Dilfer throws to the end zone, and it is caught, but caught out of bounds by Qadri Ismail.
Pretty much sums up the day for the Baltimore offense right there. You can hear the fans responding to the replay here. Cadre goes up, gets one down.
Michael Booker pushed him out of bounds. Now, the only way this can be replayed is if the NFL Observer upstairs in the press box calls for it.
This will be the angle you'll be able to see if that right foot gets down. There's one down.
Ooh.
Boy.
Plus, he was pushed.
Yes.
It's close just on the feet as they stand. Plus, he was pushed. They have decided to review it as the upstairs NFL Observer has decided to wire his way down to Jerry Austin, who will make the final decision on the field.
I really think he gets both feet in, even though he's being pushed out. There's one. Now watch the right foot as it comes down, the toes. Boy, I tell you.
Plus he's pushed.
Plus he's pushed. But
this is a huge play. We haven't even talked if they should go for the two-point conversion should they rule it, but obviously they've got to if they rule it a touchdown. Would you call it a touchdown?
You know, to me, it's kind of inconclusive. You have to kind of go with what they called on the field because you can't, there's not a good angle on the end line. If you had an end line angle to see if that toe was down, then I think you can overturn it. But to me, this is kind of inconclusive right here. It's hard to see if that foot does get in or if it lands on the line. If you have a replay down that end line that shows you positive proof that that foot is in, I think you can overturn it. But with this, I would not be surprised to see them come back with something that said inconclusive, because right there it's hard to see if that toe is in or not.
I don't know now, after I've seen it a couple times, if Booker pushed him as much as we initially thought. I don't know if there was a great deal of contact, and I don't know if he was actually pushed now that you see it on replay.
I don't think he's denied the opportunity to get his feet in bounds. I think it's just going to boil down to a question of whether they can get conclusive proof from that, which I think is the best angle we've seen so far. Did he get that right foot down?
That's got to be conclusive. And I agree with you. I don't know if it is on that replay angle. But it sure makes for some great waiting, doesn't
it? It's just so hard to see.
One foot definitely is in.
He's definitely got his left in. Now, if that comes down right, boy, I tell you what.
Wow.
I mean, but it's the foot on the ground right there. I mean,
Jerry Austin has made his ruling, and you're either going to have 69,000 screaming maniacs.
After review of the play, the call stands as made on the field. Incomplete pass.
So Booker's defense was good.
he didn't deny Cadre the opportunity to get his feet in bounds. It was just because of the way the play was unfolding. But he did not shove him. He did not deny him the opportunity. But I really feel that the play was just inconclusive to whether he got that foot down.
One timeout remaining for Baltimore, one for Tennessee. McNair will take a knee, 1:19 on the clock and ticking down. 4 second-half turnovers for Baltimore. 2 for Tennessee, 6 all told in the second half. Dilfer taking the place of Banks. So it appears as though the defending AFC champion Tennessee Titans could come out of here with the win, which would be their 6th consecutive victory, which would be the longest streak in the AFC this season. First place coming in was on the line for Jeff Fisher on his side and Tony Banks on his side.
And what Tennessee did for me today was to show me that even without Eddie George, who was lost on that opening series, that this football team was able to come into a hostile environment, lose their main part of their offense, and still be able to find a way to win football games. That speaks volume for the type of team that the Tennessee Titans are at this early stage of the season, well, at the halfway point of the season.
Tennessee will win their 4th consecutive game against an AFC Central team. And they have now won 6 of their last 8 games, regular season games, on the road. And they will still be tied for the best record in the AFC with Miami and the Jets, who play tomorrow night in Oakland, which plays in a matter of moments in the Bay Area against Seattle. No touchdowns today for Baltimore, and the Tennessee defense didn't allow any, as you take a look at Eddie George, who was injured after 1 carry. So now the defense of Tennessee has allowed just 8 touchdowns in their first 7 games, which is remarkable.
And that was the killer in this game today, is not only did the offense struggle and turn the ball over and not do what they were supposed to do, but they gave up the touchdown that took away the opportunity to kick the field goal right there to go ahead.
So the number 1 team in the giveaway takeaway in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens, coming into today, turn it over 4 times on 4 interceptions. And so the Titans, with the win, lead the Central Division by a game and a half. And Baltimore remains in 2nd place. Baltimore had won 5 consecutive games at home.
Right now, the biggest concern for Tennessee at this stage is the health of Eddie George. I mean, we really haven't got an update. We never found out the degree of sprain to the knee. But that's going to be their biggest question walking off the field today.
Tennessee goes to 6-1, and Baltimore will drop to 5-3. And Baltimore now has gone 4 consecutive games, 49 possessions without scoring a touchdown. And now for Daryl Moose Johnston and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan saying so long from PSI Net Stadium in Baltimore. The final score is in. Tennessee beating the Ravens 14-6. A horrible day for Tony Banks and the Ravens. Right now, let's send it back to our New York studios and Jim Nantz.
Ray Rhodes